Hello everyone and welcome to Fleet's Random Ramblings. Yes, as I'm sure you can all see from the very exciting title. Yes, if you look down at the video, which should be coming up very soon, there should be in the description. Yep, the Discord server link is in the description and is now open. So I'm very pleased to start welcoming people into the server. Now, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss at first, but hopefully we should have everything handled. The skilled admin, Ruinon, is doing the work, as he always does. So, looking forward to having... all of you in there. I, for one, am very excited. I am exceptionally excited. I am the most excited. I am going places, finally. Distant sound of shattering window. What light through yonder window breaks? Clang! Crash! Message for you. Ah, yes, Fleet's Random Ramblings. Truly something that unites us all in hatred of Fleet. Well, let's see how it's all going. So there should be some people who are... Let's see. Ah, people are starting to arrive. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So the bot should be directing you to your roles. Just about. You should all be... Yes, there you go. You're getting average... Everyone's picking up the average awesome adventurer role. So, hang on. No, Dragon gets... There we go. Dragon is that. Because he is... He's one of the lads. Everyone else is... Because Fleet's Fantastic Funder is the... No, sorry. Oh, no, sorry. So Fleet Shop and Trollers, I think it's just a role I give people. Fleet's Friendly Folks are the... Yes, there we go. Marvellous. Marvellous. There we go. I think with the people are starting to filter into the Discord server. It's nice to see people actually coming in. Distant sound of shattering window. Hi, Toady. Hello, Montana. Nice to see you all. Yeah, so... Opinion on that statement. It's a statement that exists. It's modern politics. It's from Muscatron 5000. It's of no consequence to anybody. And should be discounted as idiocy. But yeah, so... Discord servers starting to fill up now. Modly powers activate. So Ruinon's technical moderation. Fleet's Friendly Folks is the normal mod team. Fleet Shop and Trowel, I believe, is other creators, unless I'm very much mistaken. Gaming. Oh, for God's sake, Beddoes put gaming in there. Yes, we have a memes channel. There is the Rambling Zone that will be used when Ramblings transfers over to the other Discord server. But for now, and for the foreseeable future, we're still here on Drax server for the time being. So hello, and welcome. I'm sure those who are looking on YouTube going, Fleet has a Discord server. Yes, Fleet does have a Discord server. It is been opened now a week in advance of the big event on the 2nd. So if you want to get in to there, please do so, ideally now. General chatter is people are chattering. It's great. It's good stuff. So yeah, there you are. Know the rules. There's the welcome channel. You got to know the rules Follow the announcements. All the good stuff. And Garrus the Brit is also live. Good stuff. Chandler Chandel, hello, Foo. Nice to see you. Don't forget to drop into the Discord server. It's there. We have things. They work. It's functional. Ruinon and ARM have done a fantastic job. Right, notifications. Oh, we got people joining us, free members. It's very good, very good. Good. Brackman has I don't know enough about this. Oh my god. Dr. Clark is here already. Oh, and apparently the entire country of Germany is listening. Just the entire country of Germany. Not any particular region, the entire country of Germany. Hello, the entire country of Germany. Oh, and there is Dr. Clark. Jolly good. I'm surprised you're awake and functional. Octave too high? Well, no, I'm just in a good mood, and I am on fire.
I would suggest I needed to go to sleep.
Yes. Have you not slept?
No.
Why haven't you slept?
I had a bath, and I got ready for the plumbers and builders that have been around. The plumbers and builders have been here today. They've gone home at 4. Cleaned up. Everything's okay. I'll get some sleep tonight, possibly.
Right. Well, so...
I've over this before. I am... me.
Yes.
I'm the person who came alive in the land of the midnight sun because everyone else needed to sleep, but I could spend that extra time getting extra photographs and doing all sorts of random things.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Absolutely fine.
Channel. No, I'm fine. I am fine.
We shall see. We shall see. But yes, so, and also I'm going to grab, where is he? I see him over there. He's not going to get away from me.
Who's hiding?
Someone is hiding. He's not in the thing, but I'm going to get him. I'm going to grab him.
It's rude to keep going grabbing random people off the street, you know.
Yeah. Well, people, I've actually gotten pinged in my own server. Do not ping the owner. Ruinon, it started. That's why we've had people join. It's started.
Oh, they're all having fun. Most of my admins are currently looking at, are currently going, "You're awake."
Yes. Also,
congratulations.
Yes, Chair, I have my own Discord server. Get in here! Unless you already are. But if not, get in here! I'll give you a link. Because you're nice that way.
I'm playing as a destroyer. I thought I signed up to play as a battle cruiser.
Another one?
No, this is the other fleet. The Fleet's Hangout is a private server that's kind of sort of semi-abandoned. This is the real official.
Do I like French sovereign type battleships? Where's the no option?
It's alright.
Let's go with the normal yes.
I was supposed to answer that before a question before joining the server because
I think it's a spoof question that Ruinon's thrown in there for the lols, doing what he do.
Oh, good.
So chair is there's chair. So chair is a, I believe that's so you are a Fleet's sharpened trowel, which I believe is
I have no such thing, good sir.
Where are we?
I may be but a blunt spade.
No blunt
trying
spade for you.
times.
Where is...
A
where
well-honed firing shovel.
is this? Hang on, I checking my things.
Joining your server does not require us to actually sign an oath to become a member of the Hoshi's crew at some point should she come back into existence, does it?
No,
I'm just asking for everyone else involved in this.
Mm-hmm. No. Subvention, manage messages, delete messages. No. So is it Fleet's friendly folks who have more power? No. Fleet's friendly folks are just my frenettes. So and other content. Actually, look, it's been a while, so I'm just thinking. I'm just figuring things out. So Dragon is in his correct thing. Chair's in his correct thing. All of that is as it should be. Yep. So
Okay, this must be being piloted by a human. No computer would make that stupid a decision.
Right. Anyway, so questions, things that are questions.
Well-
Runon says it works.
Someone just tried to torpedo me a destroyer at long range. I'm fairly sure whoever did is an idiot.
Yes. So,
Hello,
first
Tiger.
question. So, first question is obviously Brackman is using his Fantastic Funder, and no one else, none of the other Fantastic Funders have. I mean, you guys are paying to be Fantastic Funders. Don't forget to use your privileges. You get to have
Look,
a
if
Ramblings question answered.
I've had this fight in regular occasions with a lot of my people who subscribe to my channel and our patrons. I love them dearly, but the amount of them who never ever even...
It's like you're using the higher tiers. Like you paid for the higher tiers. You use them. I feel guilty then.
No, just presume that they are paying for the higher tiers so they can use it at some point should they wish to.
True. Brackman asks, Drader's contacts all across the system. Set condition 1 throughout the fleet. You are the admiral in charge of defending Caprica at the beginning of the Second Cylon War. Unbeknownst to you, the cyber attack of the Cylons failed to incapacitate your fleet systems. So basically nothing's gone wrong. We're just... What do I do with my available forces?
I have no idea what you're talking
Right.
Oh, I wiped the Cylons out in extremely short order. Because their base stars have nothing in the way of anything apart from their bombardment missiles. And their anti-ship missiles. I have multiple battle stars. And supporting ships. I am going to absolutely clean their chronometers. In extremely short order. Exceptionally short order. I don't even have to pick a target. I just have to go, right, that one. Kill. Because the Cylons are operating under the assumption their cyber attack will just work. And we won't be able to fight back. As soon as we can fight back, the whole thing goes out the window. So, first thing we need to do then, after that, is we go on to the, we go to the questions of the Discord variety. When is Drakestrom? Drakestrom is next week, and that will be exclusively in my server. It will not be here. So if you want to...
Don't look for it here. You won't find it.
It'll be on YouTube, but they will be using Fleet's Rambling Zone to actually host the panel in my server next week.
Over there, with him.
Oh, good lord. Do we have to?
Yes! That was the whole
Unfortunately,
point.
I think so.
There?
It means I'm in control.
Yeah. Even more, unfortunately.
Look,
Although
we've been
I
over
will
this before.
blame-
Your delusions of control are overstated.
that is true.
Oh, God.
Alas, even pretend power may be too much for his little brain.
Oh, Chair, I swear to all
Sorry.
that is holy. Okay. Evening,
felt
Paul
strangely
Amos. Hello,
convicted
Chandler
today.
Chandler. Hello, Seneca Nero. Hello Montana, hello Stephen Mayer, hello Toady, who apparently entered by just breaking through a window somewhere, because that's how he rolls.
Just find
Why
just
wouldn't
a
you?
porthole just fallen out.
Yeah, just
And they're
shatters
lying
through a
there.
window. First
Breaking
question.
windows is a perfectly normal way of getting into places.
believe it's the preferred
So
method.
from Sufficiently Nautical, why was Langley converted into a seaplane tender instead of moved into a more of an escort carrier role? When was she converted into a seaplane tender? Actually?
Because then she counted towards the treaty tonnage.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no strategy behind it. It's they needed seaplane tenders, and if they left her as what she was, then she counted towards the treaty tonnage, and they needed the treaty tonnage.
To build carriers.
Yeah. By that point, any carrier at all counted towards your tonnage, didn't matter how big they were.
Yeah, like Langley could be tolerated as an experiment beforehand, and because she was below the
Yes.
tonnage limits. After First London, she's no longer acceptable.
No. The fact that they could tolerate her in any way, shape, or form before that is worrying to me. We'll leave that to one side. I suppose it's any place in the past.
Admiral Wellesley asks, YouTube question. Remember your own MacGuffins.
You really need
You're
to find
forgetting
yourself a
YouTube
dragon
again.
athlete.
Almost.
All you need to let Runon's app. All you need to make sure Runon's app is working for you.
Yes, but that
I have it
will
set up
come,
and actually running.
that will come when Ramblings transfers from the dry dock to my server, which is either going to be when I reach the 4-year anniversary, which is 21st
Yes, but
of
you
May.
can still have the questions being stored there now,
There's no point putting.
so you
poor
don't lose
Ruin-
track of the questions.
No. I can keep track of the questions. I'm all right. I'm not. It's not such a flow for me that it's hard to keep track of. It's a different scale compared to what you and Drac deal with. You and Drac have all of the questions. I have less. I'll put Ruin on through. Look,
my friend.
Look, I will put Ruin on through that pain only when necessary. I will. I like the poor gentle. I like the lady too much to not put her through that pain unless absolutely necessary. I remember things. Seneca asks, are there any ships that are bad fighting ships but great for crew comfort? Agincourt for the officers. Because she was fitted out as flagship for the Ottoman fleet, so had very, very plush facilities for the officers. But her fighting capability was less than some of the other dreadnoughts the Royal Navy possessed. In fact, I'd argue that she was one of the worst dreadnoughts the Royal Navy possessed, comparatively.
Not for the officers. Not for the officers. The officers were very happy with her. Very junior officers were very, very happy with that posting.
Yeah, but like I said, we're talking about
They actually
fighting capability.
They actually had very.
What do they
Who
call?
cares about that? Do you realise they actually had comfy seats?
Yes, that's true.
There was proper drink storage. There was gas
as a
storage.
fighting ship, I'd rather have a St. Vincent or a Bellerophon.
She was a battleship in the Grand Fleet. She was fine.
9 inches of armor is not enough.
And if in the end, if
cared
it
about
nothing,
that.
It's not enough.
they
Jim.
had comfortable beds.
Yes,
It's not enough, Jim.
if
Here,
you
hold
are
my
in
tr-
the military, you
Think
will
about-
find a nice place to sleep, and then you will be happy. Don't worry about how
Exactly.
likely you're about to die, as long as it feels safe. It feels safe, you've got a cup of tea. If you've got alcohol, that's even better. That's what the Navy...
Hey, well done,
It
lads.
does right.
Well done, as they say. Okay, so that was... Oh, it's gone back to top chat. I need live chat, otherwise I'm going to lose things. Annoying.
I agree for Montana. We should have a Minecraft server administered by Fleet, so that me and Drac can finally live our Minecraft dreams without having to administer a massive server and keep it in check.
Why am
I
I
think
the one who gets
Minecraft
saddled
would be
with
great.
this? Why am I
I'll
the
be
one who gets
honest,
saddled
I
with
feel I
this?
have to raise the objection here that no, I don't think Fleet would do very well in managing it.
I don't play
that's
Minecraft.
Fine,
I've
give it
never-
to me then. It's not
I've-
like I've got anything to do in my life.
Oh no, clearly I get turrets to do it.
Just imagine what me and Drac would build on a Minecraft server.
I don't doubt it for a second. It is not surprising.
I want to see this. Make it
No.
happen.
No, if we're doing a mod pack, Ben, we're not doing Tech It. Get out of the Stone Age.
And just think
Gentlemen-
of the
The
fun we
future
could
is
have.
now, old man.
Gentlemen, this is getting us nowhere. You've all made your points.
It's
We
getting
could
us
do-
everywhere.
We could do virtual Minecraft symposiums where we could all gather together in a symposium and talk about naval history.
Oh, for the love of...
Doesn't give me enough time to boot
And
up
we
the
could-
we
document
could have
to
it
get
in
down
an
to the right
actual
place.
Build
wardroom.
examples. Yes, we could.
Oh,
we could have an actual wardroom.
It'll never
And then
end.
we could
Build
do
a
some
battleship.
We could do some zombie killing afterwards when we get if we get bored or don't like a speaker. Instead of having to be rude, we can just say we've got to go deal with the zombie problem for a bit. Start polite and saying,
I'll be honest,
I'm sorry, I really don't care. I'm going to go and make a phone call and find some food.
I'll be honest, I had a very different plan for what we'd do there. My thought would be, yeah, this is where you just pull out the bow and arrow and just get rid of them.
Well, that is the other option, but
Well,
you see, the
I don't-
trouble is
well,
if we start as a president, I'm worried that, well, Fleet's character will start to look like a hedgehog.
Well, I don't play
that is true.
Minecraft anyway, and I've never had an account, so you're all welcome to
What?
it.
You don't?
It comes free
No.
with your Windows 10, you fool.
Yes.
No, I don't have Uno.
Minecraft for
I don't
Chat,
have Uno.
is that for Minecraft for Windows 10, or is that Minecraft Java, or...
Well, it is Bedrock,
Java.
so...
Okay, so
Admiral,
potentially Java's good.
Admiral Wellesley
Yeah.
asks, what if the Washington
I've always
Naval...
preferred Java to the phone one. It just
Oh,
yeah,
feels
yeah.
more-
These words are meaningless. I do not know what you
But
people
there are
speak
ways of doing crossplay, so...
And the thing is,
On
it'd
a-
be
on one
quite
server.
fun. And we could have a full entrance sequence where, basically we all get mine carts and Fleet's running along behind us,
Oh,
and we get symposium. We're all getting set up.
oh,
Eventually, Fleet arrives, being chased by a horde of zombies and creepers. We have to kill them first, then we can have the symposium. Be fun. It'll be a bonding experience for us all.
this is.
But the question is, which wardroom do we build?
As long as I don't.
We
remind
could
them
build a
about
different
this.
one for every day of the week. That's the thing.
That's a fair point.
I'd have to
We
try
don't
and get one of my...
have to-
I'd have to
that's
try and
the
get one of
joy
my
about Minecraft.
friends...
We don't have to be the
Gentlemen!
one.
Can I
Because
kindly
one of my
get
friends
on,
is excellent at building in Minecraft.
Dragon? Can
Well,
I?
that's the thing. Think of it. We could
Gentlemen-
have a wardroom in the
Gentlemen-
Nether. We could have a wardroom in the Overworld. We could have a wardroom in Atlantis. We could have a jungle
Gentlemen-
one. And
That's
we
the
could go to
end.
the wardroom depending on the theme. If we're doing the
Gentlemen,
sort of thing about something in Southeast Asia, we could go to the jungle
gentlemen,
one.
please
If
don't
we're
make me
doing
take
the
drastic measures.
Yes! Yes!
Gentlemen, please,
Ooh.
please,
I
gentlemen,
just read...
gentlemen,
Runon, I like that question from you.
gentlemen.
Runon, you're offering. Runon's just offered to moderate and administer. a
No, he
Minecraft server.
didn't. He said he wasn't going to do that.
No, she said I am moderating. Or
No, she
administrating
didn't.
A Minecraft server.
No, she didn't.
She
No.
said I am.
Let
That's it.
the record show.
That's all we see.
No, this is.
Right,
Yes, I
Dragon,
am.
we will discuss this later, I think.
Yes,
Yes.
we
gentlemen,
will.
can I get on with it, please?
Well, I'm waiting for a
Let's
fox
make
to
it
get
fun.
home, but yeah.
What if the Washington
think of the
Naval
fun Foxo
Treaty
would
had
have
a-
with it.
Oh, for the love of... Can we move on, please, gentlemen?
Yes, because I've now finally got the document up.
What if the Washington
Runon's now
Naval
saying
Treaty
yes,
had...
please, yes. It's just
Right.
amazing.
Please.
She's so keen.
What if the Washington
Please.
Naval Treaty had a 15,000-ton cruiser limit? You basically just see the cruiser grow to that size. Although what you might see is you may actually see a separation. It won't just
Also,
be...
if you've got
it
a
won't-
50,000-ton limit, there's going to be a lot of Hermes-like carriers coming into service in the Royal Navy and probably eventually in the Japanese and the American navies.
A lot
By the
less...
time it gets to the water.
A lot more yards survive. A lot more larger yards survive the treaty period.
And you're going to have something which is truly approaching something which is a heavy, and 15,000 tons. You can build something which is actually an 8-inch cruiser with the name cruiser because it can actually probably be built to withstand 8-inch gunfire and still have a decent reasonable armament.
Well, it can be built to withstand 8-inch gunfire before you get to 1935.
yeah,
Although you will definitely see 6 to 8,000 ton 6-inch cruisers appear in probably the British and the French navies, and
Yes.
maybe in fact probably in all the navies, because with that much of a gap, it's actually worth having a smaller
What you probably-
type of cruiser to build in larger numbers.
And what you probably get at the London Naval Treaty is something whereby they go 15,000 tons of the heavy cruisers and light fleet carriers. Carriers get allowed, fleet carriers are now up to 30,000 tons. Also, if you're a 15,000 ton for your cruiser limit, then I'm sorry that 35,000 ton isn't going to wash it for the capital ship. They're going to be about 40,000 tons.
Yeah.
As a limit, and you probably get a limit of light cruisers being at about 10,000 tons and 6-inch guns.
Yeah, probably.
And they'll probably work out limits based on that. And it's probably going to be the Royal Navy. Probably going to be. Well, let's see. You've got 15,000 tons as your limit. Then you can get
Montana.
20 of those.
Montana. My channel has been always categorically a channel for those over the age of 18. I am not Dr. Clark. My channel and my server are categorically places where words are used.
You try and keep the 12-year-olds of my family out of my server.
No.
That's the thing. In the nicest way, that was never going to happen. And by the way, there's already at least 2 of them who've joined up onto your server.
Well, they...
I'm not naming names,
well,
but if they learn anything the other day, I'm just going to give the cousins your address.
If they're under the age of 13, well, 18 actually, technically, they shouldn't be in my server because it's, well...
crap, I should leave.
No, you're...
I am specifically forbade from revealing who they are, or that I know what their accounts are. But I know they are there.
Yes.
Like I also know there's a good couple of dozen of them in Drax server wandering around. One of them is doing really well in there at the moment in terms of ranking.
Chair.
What? No, not me.
Right, I think I've actually caught up on all the questions.
Anyway, so YouTube question now.
And at least 2 of them have told me they want to meet Foxo at some point because they think she's fantastic.
As in person or just on the VC?
In person.
Foxo
she keeps you all in line.
Yeah, Foxo wouldn't.
She keeps you all in line.
Like, Dragon gets...
Foxo is a very hiding fox.
Yeah, Dragon gets an exception because, well, he's Foxo's dragon. But,
hard to do with that, but...
But...
To be fair, they are both 7 years old, so I don't think they'll be stalking her anytime soon or try and drag her down. But also, they if ever she finds herself in the West Country, they will probably be trying and track her down.
Right, as far as I'm aware, she's in the East, so...
Right,
she's fine.
Okay, so, so we did
Right,
that. So we did
next
Seneca
question.
Nero. We did that one. Oh, Chandler Lord
Which ones have you
Chandler
actually answered
asks.
so far?
I've done the one about other ships that are bad fighting ships, great for crew comfort. I've gotten down to 15,000 ton limit cruisers on Discord, and I've, like I said, Seneca Nero, bad fighting ships, crew but good crew comfort on YouTube. I'm just about to do. Chandler Lord Chandler, in your opinion, what is the most impressive Azure Lane design? I don't have an opinion. I don't.
You should.
Play Azure
Oh,
Lane.
you do have an opinion.
I don't.
Fleet does. They're the ones who are on his alternate body pillows when he's not hugging Coach body pillow.
No, you don't
I think it starts
spread
off with
more rumors,
Baby
Dr. Clark.
I think it starts off with Baby
Stop it.
Enterprise from memory.
Little
Remember
Enterprise.
Stop
Little
it.
Enterprise, yes. I always call her Baby Enterprise because she's so small, but apparently that's what Fu likes.
Yes.
Dr. Clark,
Well,
would you
currently
please,
the
would
consensus
you...
that they are
I'm
actually
going to stop
children of
having
them.
you on if you keep spreading rumors like this, Dr. Clark.
Oh, but Fleet, the bigger problem then is if you don't have him on, you then have him doing it in the background. Which, at least if he's here, you can try and control it.
Yeah, and when has that ever worked?
And the fact is, the thing I find fun about it is everyone knows I'm joking, but everyone carries on because you will get so wound up by it.
Most impressive is your latent design. Well, the question is by
Hey, bring to the
impressive,
viewers.
what do you mean? Personally, I've got a lot of favorites, but I'm not sure. Like, personally, I absolutely
Where's my
adore
stick?
Kearsarge to a degree. Kearsarge, and especially New Jersey, I think are excellent designs, even if they are going
Ark Royal.
science.
Ark Royal is good.
Ark Royal is indeed very good. I actually quite like Boise's. Where's my Royal Navy ones?
Shaggy
Hood is here.
Shaggy
Seeing,
is quite good.
Actually, seeing
I think Vanguard
seeing
is
as Hood
genuinely
here,
one of the best designs.
I actually have to poke them. Hood, when are you gonna get round to bringing up the lads who I've suggested in communications room? Like it's been.
Like, I'm sure.
Like it's
Like,
been.
a lot of the old Royal Navy ships are just excellent.
Like it's been nearly a month now.
I'm surprised they don't have a Victory. I'd have thought Victory would have got the full treatment. Because let's be honest, she's technically still commissioned. And has been there the whole time, technically, commissioning her, just imagine the stuff Azur Lane could do with Victory's motifs.
Oh, yeah. One I did not expect to like as much as I did was HMS Argus. HMS Argus had an amazing design for what she is.
Yes, it was kind of shocking when you realise the history of the vessel, then you see it.
What on earth are you talking about? I didn't
It's your
realize.
lane.
I didn't.
We're actually answering the people's questions.
I didn't realize Argos had a ship named after them.
What? Right. Please send the Foster to your location with a pipe bomb.
Oh, I had to get one in.
No, that's rude to both That's rude to Argus. That's just
Fleet
the
wins
meaning
again!
to her.
Anyway, sorry, Fleet.
No,
I
it
have to
doesn't.
go now and win the First World War, so I will see you later.
Goodbye.
What do you mean the First World War?
Oh, it's a thing.
It's a
he's
war
doing.
game that my lecturer's running. It's brilliant.
Huh. That's actually pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
But I've left my swagger stick somewhere, so I'm now very disappointed. Because I need to point at the board at something. Brr.
Don't worry.
oh god,
I would suggest nicking off someone else. That's what most generals tend to do with their swagger sticks. They nick them off a nearby
I know
mate.
there is at least another one in the... I have to steal one off the Russians, but yeah, I think I can grab one.
Steal the one
somewhere.
off. Wait, what are the Russians doing here?
Eastern Front.
Please tell me Please tell me they've actually put the navy in this time.
No, sorry, no.
Oh.
The Navy's just doing Navy things.
Yeah.
I do apologise. We're only
kind-
soldiers in this.
It's kind of like Foxo, off doing battlecruiser things.
Well,
It happens.
although
Navy goes off and does Navy.
although I will admit,
Right,
keeping the
Anyway,
naval
I am
war
running
the-
late now, so
yeah.
cheerio.
Bye for now.
I will admit though, I think Cher raises a good point. Keeping the naval war the
Let me
same.
slide in here.
Yeah, keeping
Hello,
the
Hood.
keeping the naval war in a scenario like that, where you're wargaming the land war in Europe during the Great War, keeping the naval war historical and a known factor does help limit the scope and advise player decision making. I think.
I know. Going back to the question, I know one design Foxo does quite like is Foxhound Retrofit. But of
Oh,
course-
yes. I'd say, since I've been started being asked questions regularly on Azur Lane by people for which Fleet doesn't do the research for, I have taken it upon myself to do necessary research.
I have no
Just
interest
the nicest
in
way
it.
And I
would
have
say-
no interest in some. Don't take this the wrong way, Fleet, but I have no interest in some of the things that people ask me about. But I've gone and done the research and answered questions because people are asking me the questions,
I don't know why. People
and I
ask
owe
these
it to them to be
questions.
to go and do so. And sometimes I have no interest in them originally, but then when I go and do research, I find them quite intriguing.
Oh, I'm getting.
For example, I said my hobby horse is going to become Azur Lane. Why do you not have an HMS Victory? And I think also, an old Ironsides as well would be an excellent addition. I think these ships are commissioned. They are part of their navies. Their spirits are important and powerful things. They should have been allowed to be a part of it.
Oh.
And I'm sure Dragon agrees with me. And I think a lot of Azur Lane
technically
people
speaking,
would.
Fleet. Technically
No,
speaking,
that's
Fleet,
that's
we're
a
not
good
asking
point.
you. We're not actually
HMS
asking
Britannia
you.
is not in Azur Lane yet,
Yeah. So
and HMS Britannia
Just,
was
you know,
Old
become a
Ironsides
full
before Constitution was
professor
laid
on it.
down.
yes, and neither Victory's not there. There's all sorts of ships which should be there,
Victory
there,
might
and would
come
have.
during Halloween.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous. That
would
could
be fun.
very good. I said, she
Because-
could deserve it. She does deserve it.
They'll be doing sailing ships as Halloween ships.
Yeah.
Because who do we currently have? We have Amity, Fancy, something I'm not even going to try and pronounce, Golden Hind, the Mary Celeste, Royal Fortune, Sarah
I
Martino,
still, as
Adventure
an
Galley,
avid-
Dolphin, the Portsmouth Adventurer, and Wider. So we've got a few.
I still maintain that the Mary Celeste should have had a reference to Limbo of the
Yeah.
Lost.
Oh. No. Oh.
It would have been the height of comedy.
Benjamin
and proof that the devs
Spooner
watched,
Briggs,
Mandalorian
captain of the Anyway, Hood, where promotions?
Probably something to
What?
Don't worry about it, I'm still trying to defend. Don't worry about it, I'm still trying to defend against psychological warfare from Dr. Clark.
No, but
Don't say I blame you, Runon.
No, but no, Hood.
Sorry.
I would
please check.
never do
Discuss it
psychological
later,
warfare on
Fleet.
Runon.
I have poked people and nothing's happened.
Discuss it later, Fleet, is the simplest solution.
Blame Cyclic. He told.
I would
Basically-
never do psychological warfare on Runon.
Yes, you would.
I merely, I teach Fleet. I don't do psychological warfare on Runon.
You know, the whole thing about saying how Wargaming were interested in their program, I think, is enough psychological warfare for them, just because they're now having to imagine how much paperwork that will be.
Yes, that will be an awful lot of paperwork.
But think of the fun they'd have with it as well.
Oh,
Yes, but I also can't imagine that much what's called paperwork.
Yes, I don't like paperwork.
I don't think many people like paperwork necessarily.
No one does. No one likes paperwork. It's just the fact of life and necessity. Sometimes you just have to do it.
Any
Yes.
chance I could tug on your sleeve for an answer before I get sucked into a meeting? Sure, Dr. Clark, is Runon's responses. But Fleet, for your sake, want to move on to the next question?
And that's it.
Yes.
I don't need to do the psych warfare, on Runon because I'm sorry, that's already been paxied by someone else in the family.
No. See,
No, that's not a denial. It's more a case of, don't worry, I've already got someone for it.
No, don't worry. It's just my mom's decided that she should be.
Don't joke
our
about
special
that. You
project.
have no idea how much paperwork it is. It's one thing to have friends in Five Eyes.
So, the next question is from Cvix that says, Fleet, when are you going to reach 300 subscribers? You're very close. Whenever the algorithm gods grace me with enough subscribers. It's not something I can
Hopefully
actively
soon.
control. It just happens.
I still think you should do a video of you in a hot tub. That's always been the way I've found as best way of getting more
No.
subscribers. Every
No.
single one of those 60-second
No.
videos recruits more subscribers than I ever care to admit.
No.
Does this
No.
mean
Honestly,
that Dr.
they're
Clark's
good-
going to become
yeah.
a hot tub streamer for
I was
Twitch?
about to say, I'm sorry, why am I now imagining Hot Tub Historian as a tagline?
No, look,
That is literally a series on my channel.
I have
I haven't actually seen that one.
I have
dear.
I have my standards. I also don't have a hot tub. So,
That's just disturbing, but yeah, that can also that can be fixed. I also personally don't own one. I just find many hot tubs where I travel.
Well, clearly, Fleet, you need to go back up to Finland and do it there.
that would be sauna
Yes!
historians, but that
Consider-
wouldn't be quite the same, and also it wouldn't
No,
work.
they have hot tubs in the Nordic countries as well. It's actually quite a good pastime. Is they'll do hot tub stuff
Yes.
and then go out in the snow.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Go out
Honestly,
in the
they
snow and then go
seem
to the hot
mad
tub.
to me.
No,
but-
no, leave it. I don't want a hot tub.
It's
I'm
fine.
perfectly fine.
Just
Thank
take it
you.
fun. And look, even better, you and I could go and do a hot tub historian. And we could record the episode together.
I'm gonna put that one on
Two
the
historians,
pass,
I guess.
and move on.
The special edition of two historians taking Fleet back to his roots
Back to
with the Nordic hot tub.
just because my family's got the Finnish side to it. I never hear the end of it. So, Discord question. Runon asks, Fleet Emotions, you are tasked with sending the requirements for the Daedalus class replacements. Assume limited access to ancient Lantian tech and a similar threat mix as the end of Stargate.
Ooh.
Ah, yes, BC 304 upgrades.
SSGU.
Where are you? BC 306 or was it BC 307?
Probably 307, you're thinking of, because I also have that somewhere.
That's really quite simple. If I have, the thing is, if I'm doing a successor to the Daedalus class, and I'm trying to do a successor to the...
Why would anyone be letting you design a successor to the Daedalus class?
I mean, it's really easy to actually...
He's apparently, well, I'm
But
just
you
assuming
like
he's been put into this.
no. The thing is, you like the Hosh. Why would anyone do that to the Daedalus class? They're quite a nice looking design.
I mean, the thing is, all I do is just
You'll
make
just
it...
put the Hosh in space.
No, I just make the Daedalus class bigger, run it through the printer, and expand the size of everything. And then the only thing...
Achilles, there's one I like.
And then the
But
only...
that doesn't work. Nicest way. That just causes issues.
Yeah, that's a bad
That's not
idea,
how
Fleet.
design work. Design work. There's going to be finite. You know, are you redesigning all the spaceports and all the infrastructure to support these ships, which are now bigger?
It would make some sense if you were just scaling
In
the
every
design by
way.
like 20% to give it iterative design functions.
Yes.
So this is incorporating all known new technologies.
Oh,
that
sorry,
we
it's
have.
3.
Yeah.
I had a really good. Someone's done a really good 3D render of a ship that I loved, and it looks
This is
great.
one I quite like. This is one I quite like the look of. The Achilles.
So the Achilles is pretty good, but that's also like
there's also a different Achilles, which is BB308.
There's like 3 or 4 of them because people have chosen that basic hull form and then switch weapons and platform bits around.
There's another one I'm trying to think of which was much bigger. I can't remember it.
Well,
but no, I wouldn't do as Fleet's doing and suggest scaling it up. I would try and do a pretty much complete redesign.
the problem I've got is that I'm not familiar enough with Stargate to do a complete redesign.
Well,
my basic premise has to be.
Well, the thing is, once you've got if you're going to keep the missile systems, which are quite useful to have, let's be honest.
Look,
you're going to introduce probably Lantean drones. You're going to if you can. You're going to want to have Asgard beam weapons. I would still want to keep the railguns as well because absolutely. You know what, they're kind of useful.
Railguns were proven in the Wraith War that they were effective point defense platforms.
And of course, you've also got the idea that.
You do need some point defense systems.
And I mean, I
would want to probably be looking at increasing my hangar capacity, but I would probably actually be tempted to have a hangar which was a separate place for bringing aboard foreign guests, because we all know what happens when the last time you had a Dart Wraith had a Wraith ship come in there and they took everything over from there. So I want a hangar which was literally for guests to fly in. But there is no way you are getting anything out of here. It is going to be the most dead and fricking space known to mankind.
I'm almost thinking almost ISD style. Like I have a hangar bay on the bottom that can basically, in case of emergency, this is an armored box. No. Nothing escapes this box, basically.
Jettison it into the sun, into the fiery orb.
No, you probably don't jettison it, because then you have to think of a jettison mechanism. It's really.
But think of the comedy.
I'm not bullying Hosh.
Think of the comedy.
I would never bully Hosh. I think that's just cruelty to her. She did not deserve to be designed the way she was. But Fleet calling her sometimes, describing her sometimes as the most beautiful ship on the world in history worries me. Okay, it worries
I have my preferences, and it's an opinion. You are free to disagree with it as you wish, but just let me have my opinion.
Yeah, we let you have
your opinion. I would just
vehemently disagree with it,
and we'll take the out of the opinion on a regular basis.
You're not on your channel anymore. You're fine.
Still, it's always.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh no, that's right. I forget. It's not about being on the channel. It's about learning things from you that the cousins have to not learn from you. If it's me, it's fine. I get the blame. But if it's Dr. Clark, it's not.
Well, Dr. Clark will still get the blame because it's his mates, effectively.
No. I have managed to say that if it's not hosted by me, as long as it's not me, it's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
If it's on my channel, then I've.
Yeah, but, and I mean, to be fair,
I will also, remind you that quite a few of them are members of, various organisations in the government, in the country. They're quite proud people. They,
I don't doubt.
They are devoted to national service, etc.
National service doesn't exist.
Here's what. Honestly, this might be.
Serving the nation always exists, my friend.
Yes, but.
I found the particular set of images I was looking for.
He has a particular set of skills.
Nice to take a look. But honestly,
I never said any of that.
As heretical as this might be, I might remove the wing pods, honestly.
There are some good ships without them.
There are advantages. I could say maybe removing them,
but there is probably. But the pods are iconic. The pods are iconic.
No, I'd say they are actually useful in some regards, but I would like to have them so that they're detachable. So if I want to leave a sort of a fighter base in orbit of a planet, I can just bump.
I'm not going to lie.
Survive on their own, orbiting around.
I'm not going to lie, Dragon.
That's a very useful tool system.
I'm not going to lie, Dragon. That Achilles class goes pretty hard. And also, those are some very nice big guns.
Yes. So this is the so-called Ellis class that I've found. It is effectively a scaled-up version of the BC-304.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, that's about what I was thinking. Yeah.
This also does have much more weapon systems. As you can see, in ships, there's more twin turret systems.
Basically more missile racks, more railgun, more laser weapons, more everything.
When it comes to the Stargate ships specifically, there is something that does personally bother me. So the BC304 has 12 side or 24 side-by-side VLS systems with a shockingly few missiles aboard. I know this is in space, however,
we can multi-pack.
99% of engagements are done at point-blank range, so you could effectively fire ESSMs out of those things.
Yeah, just
effectively quadruple or quintuple the amount of missiles you're carrying.
Also, there's the point in space. There's not the friction or air resistance. So once you started, you only need to maintain fuel for maneuvering.
Exactly.
So a nice way you could put in more. There were a fair number of things to the missile systems which I was always a bit sort of like.
Honestly, like the VLS,
thinking on.
Yeah,
and also the VLS were honestly about the same size as most of the how do I put them politely? The hypersonic VLS tubes we have today, we are building today. In which case,
it was a case of like a lot of the stuff was
could
like
have packed on the Hawks and used them for that role.
Yeah, it was also a case of this was also during the time when VLS for like the public's idea of the VLS system was very lacking. Stargate SG-1 started in the 90s. Stargate Atlantis was 2000 to 2005. Stargate Universe was up
all they had to do was talk to a member of the US Navy.
I know.
Surely there's enough of them going around who can actually. Were they so obsessed with talking only to the US Air Force they didn't actually think at some point, hang on, we're packing in a naval system. Perhaps go talk to the Navy guys?
Yeah, it was one of those types of things.
They could have made their life easier and just talk to a US naval pilot if they needed to. If they really couldn't talk to someone who didn't have aviation experience, they could just gone and got a US Navy pilot.
Yeah, naval aviators would have been a good shout. As I recall, Dean Anderson, guy who plays Jack O'Neill in SG-1, is an honorary brigadier general in the Air Force.
Yes, he is.
Because that's the rank that Jack O'Neill attains. Also, this is mentioning the detachable pods, the Abydos class, by Ryan Begerman. I butchered that name, I know. Detachable gun pod systems.
Ooh, very nice.
I'll actually link this guy's art station because he has lots of really good sci-fi art stuff.
Ooh, that's very
There
nice.
are a lot of people, but don't forget, folks, those in the channel here on... Discord. Yeah, that's right, Discord. Yeah, that thing. Those of you who
I've just noticed this guy has some Farscape art. That's not
who are on YouTube as well. Don't forget, folks. You should go to the channel and join the Discord server. Be good. It'll be good. I'll have some fun. I may actually christen it with a Ahoy game after Ramblings this evening. Just for fun. That'll be fun. First actual game night in the new server. That'll be great fun. Right, so, that was YouTube. Now it's back to good old Chord of the Dis, as you could say.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, still discussing that.
Wellesley, I just Mike Spark. Admiral Wellesley asks, "Hi, Dr. Clark. Thoughts?
Hello, Wellesley.
Picture of incredibly cursed aerogravin offspring. Mike Sparks has once again breached containment."
Let me find this because I'm a fan of the Gavin. It must be said.
Okay, let's have a look at literacy.
Mike Sparks has I've linked it. Mike Sparks has once again breached containment.
Oh,
I've seen worse things. I've seen worse things. It could be something which is on.
How do you land?
Call it?
How do you land with the 30mm sticking out the bottom? Do you just?
It's retractable.
Do you have to?
It retracts in. Obviously, it's retractable.
Then where do the troops go?
It's a Gavin. Everything retracts on the Gavin.
Then where do the troops go?
They don't. It's an attack platform. What do you mean?
No, but the Gavin has to be able
it's
to.
It's a strike craft.
It's the strike Gavin. Is it the AM?
Yes,
one?
Absolutely. It's the strike Gavin.
You
know how some of them have like the mortar in the back? This one just deploys rotor blades and deploys. What are they called?
For a friend.
Hellfires.
Strike Gavin. Oh, strike Gavin. Oh, hello, Mega Scroll. Good evening.
I need to go and send this to a friend of mine because she is also a Gavin enjoyer.
Gavin enjoyer. So Sidious on YouTube is the info man. What a name! What a name! Fantastic. Where are we? So, YouTube questions. I'm gonna have a lot to catch up on Wednesday, and honestly, I'm kind of glad of that. Last thing I will want to do is the catch-up ramblings to run out of steam, since they're going quite well.
Yeah, they are.
Did that already. Lions Art, it seems another country is Romania going to join the F-35 club. Who else do you think will join? Any NATO partner that hasn't already joined and isn't Turkey. Basically.
Oh, Turkey might even join.
As long as they hand over the S-400 for immediate examination. that will be the trade.
I don't take this the wrong way. I'm fairly certain that someone will give them an offer they can't refuse on that one.
Yeah.
And mostly it's a case of because they want to get rid of the S-400 because they're currently looking at it thinking it's terrible.
Yes.
Which is not wrong.
It's not peer with Western systems. It's not bad. If it was bad, we wouldn't be seeing S-300, which is inferior to it, clobbering things in Ukraine. For both sides. But it's probably not peer to Western systems like Patriot.
No.
It's less a case that the missiles are bad. It's the radars and the detection systems attached to them.
Yes.
Yeah, the missiles are good systems. If they're given half a chance, they do okay. It's what's backing them up which is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the reason. Like, if you were to look at things like the probably not going to happen anymore Nakhimov refit, I believe it was the shipyard was the user. During a ramblings, pointed out that, like, yeah, having 96 missiles to pull from is great and all, but if she's got no fucking radars, what is the point?
Good night, Vienna.
Nakhimov refit's an interesting one because I have a feeling there's part of me which thinks that might actually still take place.
There's a possibility for it. I think that
mainly because they're just. Because what are they going to replace her with? And the trouble is, Peter Veliky is not going to go on forever.
No. She can't.
And they've got enough trouble with Kuznetsov. They need something of that status. For Russia is very much focused on its status. They cannot afford to be in a situation where they don't have something of status.
And for a long time, that's been Peter Veliky.
And Kuznetsov can't do that anymore because she's had her crew stripped. To go serve in Ukraine.
Living on borrowed time, that cruiser. Frankly.
You mean carrier?
She's a cruiser carrier. That's how she gets through the Bosphorus. Or got through the Bosphorus.
I mean, she's a carrier first, cruiser second.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I would not like to...
The technical nomenclature that the Russians have attached to her, because she was built in where she was built and needed to get to the Bosphorus, and the Turks don't let carriers through the Bosphorus, meant that she was a cruiser carrier.
Yes, she was an aircraft carrying cruiser, but of course everyone knew that it was literally just there as we want to get this ship out of the Black Sea. That is the only
Also, if you consider their role, what their primary strike assets are, and what they consider them for, yeah.
So that was
almost to YouTube.
Yeah, so this is a Discord.
What is she playing? Oh, she's playing Black Ops 6.
Langley is running from me, but you're not going to get away from me.
Cvix, so motor torpedo boats on a submarine. Is it a good idea for a 30 submarine before the war? Any thoughts about it?
It's a 30 submarine before World War II. Yeah, they're going to have them there. It's good. It's nice to have something to get to shore quickly, and when you're in a port of call.
And if you can use it to carry a torpedo, then in certain niche cases, it might not be the worst idea. Let's say you want to let's say you're outside an anchorage and it's a pitch black night. You can quietly surface, especially in Age Before Radar, quietly surface, deploy your little MacGuffin, go in, release torpedo, quietly motor away, explosion, where submarine escorts hunt for submarine. Submarine is in fact nowhere near. Submarine quietly surfaces the next day. So next night, picks up a torpedo boat, goes away, laughs hysterically.
Looking at the diagram that is listed by Civics, that actually makes a lot more sense, because I was thinking of things like a Fair Isle.
It's
MTB.
literally just a speedboat with an engine and a single torpedo.
That makes more sense than it being like, my Alliance class submarine is carrying a Fair Isle motor torpedo boat with a 40mm Bofors on and all sorts of other stuff. That was what I was envisioning, because I didn't scroll up to look. Scrolling up and seeing that, I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense, and that's totally fine. And yeah, as mentioned, it can ferry people to shore, save you having to get and taking up a mooring spot in the harbour, or even next to a quay, even if you probably want to do it anyway to load on supplies easier. But yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And the possible tactical superiority it might leverage is an idea.
It's a niche case.
Same time,
it's a niche use case.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing that if I was doing convoy raiding and I found a lone merchantman that I was attacking, I'd probably surface, deploy the motorboat, get closer while submerged, then pop up and be like, "Hello, I have a gun," and then the motor torpedo boat comes in from another side to try and block their escape and threatens to torpedo.
It's basically like we have torpedo. If gun doesn't get you, torpedo will.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that would make a lot more sense in that scenario. But like, yeah.
So, next YouTube question is actually asking to answer a Discord question, which technically is allowed. Darth Sidious asks if the so I'll answer the second part first and the first part second, because the second part's really a simple answer. Dr. Clark, can we invite you to the Hoi 4 sessions when we do them occasionally?
You can invite me, yes, and if I'm free, I'll pop along.
Yee.
If I'm free, that's the thing. I'm always happy to pop along if I'm free.
Yee. And we'll have to, and then of course we can teach you about how the mods work. Excellent.
No. Others might have to teach him, not you.
What? Oh, come on!
I'm sure Fleet knows it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, I do.
Right, Clark, you have not seen his actual design. Right, I have not seen a battleship so badly built.
Dragon, I was referring to actually getting mods installed. And
yeah, I was going to say this is probably more the technical side of getting the game running.
Yeah, come on. Don't do me.
Even then, Hood, I would still trust someone who's not Fleet.
Oh.
Because by the sheer fact that multiple times Fleet said, right, I can't handle this, you do it to me.
Yes, but
trying to tell people how to do
but
this.
I am willing
this
to
is
make
why I don't trust Fleet anymore.
I need to improve. I have a tendency
I appreciate your idea to improve.
But
I appreciate your desire to improve.
Yeah. On the other hand, I also have a desire to make sure it works. Also, Fleet, Blackburn Maximus is saying, hello, Zoom. I mean, Fleet.
Again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I think the bottom of the barrel has been reached sometimes, and then breakthrough, and it's still more to go.
That is a shame. I can't use the soundboard here. I just added a new sound for a different
Darth Sidious asks, if the Germans went with a Scharnhorst-like battleship as their first capital
So
ship...
I know the phrase is okay boomer. What's it when it's zoomer?
It's basically...
It's a different generation. It's just...
Kind of, yeah.
No, what I mean is, you say okay boomer. What's the version when you're dealing with a zoomer? Because you can't just go okay zoomer, because that's lazy.
So...
Well, no, it is that, though. Because it's as easy to remember. You just adjust it for the generation of person you're talking to.
Yes.
But wouldn't it be more accurate with Fleet to go zoomer?
Please.
Because
it's more
so than okay.
Yeah. If the Germans went with the Scharnhorst-like battleship as their first capital ship instead of the Deutschlands, how would the follow-up classes be affected like this? Well, first of all, let me set some context. The Deutschlands are built for the Weimar government and the Reichsmarine.
Next week's coming early.
And the Reichsmarine. They are built in this environment. When the class is being considered and laid down, there is heavy opposition to the concept of their construction. It has to be pushed through the German parliament, through the Reichstag. In fact, the socialist campaign runs on for that year's election, when they're considering building Deutschland and approving the funding, runs on a campaign that's, I think it says, funding for social care, not panzer shifts.
Yeah, speaking, that one's not.
It was a genuinely quite cutthroat election around a big social issue.
And they were still trying to pay, and like, bear in mind, Deutschland as designed are at least paying lip service to the concept of Versailles.
That's the one I actually meant to post, not the other one.
Yeah. So the Deutschland class as designed are paying lip service to the concepts around Versailles. You can't go to the British and say, yes, we're paying lip service to the concepts of Versailles with a 25 to 30,000 ton battleship with 9 11-inch guns. You can't fluff that as a 10,000 ton ship. You just can't. There's no way. Whereas we know the Deutschlands
We're talking about 1930...
No, not even that. If we're talking about when the ships are being considered, rather than
when the Deutschlands are being considered, yes.
Yeah,
think about
we're talking
when
late
they're being
20s.
built and they're considered.
Late 20s is when they're considered. Yeah, late 20s is when they're considered. Because remember, Deutschland is
they could
down.
They could go to the Russian. It'd be fine. There is, I was sitting there mentally trying to remember, and I was remembering whether it was late 20s, in which case there's someone in the Admiralty who would put it through, or mid 30s, in which case there's someone in the Admiralty who put it through and go, it'd be fine. Now, in the late 20s, it's a guy called Admiral Beatty who would quite happily annoy the French by letting it through, but also there are other advantages to do it because it allows Germany to go bankrupt, because they're going to have to pay so much money to build something that big, they're never going to build anything else. And it's actually quite useful in that one. Goodbye having a submarine armor and any money you're funding into anything else for future projects, even covertly. But if it's Admiral Henderson, well, he lets them build them. He definitely is going to push forward, let it build them. Then he's going to turn around and go, well, Germany now has these, so I need to factor this into my calculations of what we need to construct for the Royal Navy.
Yeah, so they actually start considering the designs in 1920, and the design is approved to the final design we know as the Deutschlands in November 1928, and design and construction work starts next year.
So they did design studies in 1920, and they didn't actually settle on a design until like 1924, I want to say.
No, it was actually it was
1928.
Yeah, that's
1928.
Because they had an economic collapse and had to avoid any kind of building shit or designing, because that was paying people money that they couldn't afford, and so that didn't really start up again until 25, and then they got the designs in 28.
Yeah.
Back in a moment.
Yeah, but
bear in mind also that the reason that they were allowed to do these from the get-go was because they were replacing a set of pre-dreadnought battleships that they were allowed to keep after Versailles.
And these ships, if the Germans are allowed to replace, because they are allowed to replace their pre-dreadnoughts 1-for-1 to get six Deutschland-style vessels are not a threat to the Royal Navy or the French Navy by themselves. They are enough to keep the Russians bottled up in the Baltic, which is the Reichsmarine's purpose, as far as the British and the French are concerned. That's the only reason Germany's been allowed to retain a navy at all, because communist Russia sat there, existing.
Oh, we lost Germany. Germany?
There is another reason. But that other reason is a level of which you won't really like.
Yeah. But even something like the Hippers...
Well, if you don't have a navy... If you don't have a navy, they have nothing to support. Therefore, they can invest all their money in building an infrastructure that could potentially support a larger fleet. But if you let them have a fleet, but it's only a small fleet, what do they have to spend their precious money on?
Supporting the fleet. They can't just afford to pay people to keep the institutional knowledge. They actually have to maintain a fleet. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough. That's a good point. But just to bring things back here, so Dragon has posted the Hipper-class battlecruisers from the thing we'll be discussing next week, Drake's Drum, which are very similar in concept to what we're discussing. The thing is, they are entirely too much ship. like, there's no way in 1932 the Germans can build a 28,000 ton normal 29,000 ton full load capital ship in 1932. It's not possible.
Well, they could build it. It's going to bankrupt them doing it. There's a difference saying it's not physically they could do it. And honestly, Britain probably wouldn't care a flying hoot. As I said, as long as you've got Beatty, they're not going to worry too much. If it's because he's not that kind of thinker, and the French are probably going to be annoyed, but they're dealing with so much internal problems at that point, they're not going to be able to do much, so they could probably get away with doing it, but the thing is, it's going to bankrupt, and then they're going to have what? What do you do from there?
I mean, you've got a pair of 30 knot ships.
And the worst...
I mean, to be fair...
the thing that becomes worse is because now you've got enough quality, you might end up getting invited to the London Naval Treaty.
Yeah.
And if you get invited to the London Naval Treaty, all they're going to do is lock you into a larger version of what the Anglo-Naval Treaty was and adjust themselves accordingly.
Yep.
And that's the worst situation you can be for the Germans.
Yep.
Is if they've shown their hand too early.
Yeah, and also, more to the point, even if they somehow don't go bankrupt building what are essentially mini Scharnhorst with much weaker armour, they're actually battle cruisers, not battleships. The Scharnhorsts, because the Scharnhorst will be designed and constructed when the Nazi party's in power, will have to be something bigger. Because that's what Hitler will demand. He'll say, we've already built this.
Well, the thing is, he might want to, but the thing is, if they join the London Naval Treaty in 1930, and they're limited in what they can have by the London Naval Treaty, then yes, he might be able to want to build something bigger. But if he will be as limited as Italy was and Japan were, in that Japan could get away with building in many ways Yamato Musashi because of the scenario of Japan and its ability to isolate various positions of the yard, and because frankly people like you or me stick out like a sore thumb, and let's be honest, especially in some parts of Japan in this period, and therefore their intelligence gathering was limited. But intelligence gathering in Germany, I can pass for a German. No. You can pass for a German. We need to have slightly better linguistic skills, but we could pass one.
Mm.
And just wander around and take photos. It's far more difficult for you to secretly build stuff in Germany and Italy than it is to do stuff in Japan.
Mm.
So actually, it's almost an advantage for the Allies in this, because it means that you're going to get the Germans primed to build a treaty battleship. Or at least it's going to be close to treaties to the Littoriers.
Yeah. But again, it all comes down to it's not that the Germans couldn't build a capital ship like Scharnhorst earlier. It's that it wasn't in their best interest to do so.
No, but, it would have been fun if they had.
So the YouTube question.
There's also a possibility that they get a pair, they order them in 1, 2, and 3, and then they get another, they order another, they end up with about 5 of these ships by, 5, maybe even 7 capital ships by World War II.
You might see iteration in
Germany
that case, then.
If Germany has 7 capital ships by World War II, then how many does the Royal Navy have? How many did the US Navy have?
Yeah,
It's also a case of, like, if they were to do that, they'd probably do a set of maybe 3 to match the the Deutschland numbers that were completed. Yeah. And then in, say, I don't know, 34,
well, no, these ships have been built instead of the Deutschlands. These ships have been built instead of the Deutschlands.
I'm saying, like, they'll just repeat the design, but build them to an improved standard. So they've got better fire control, they have better guns, because obviously in that time, one of the big benefits of the Deutschlands was that it revitalized naval gun industry.
Yeah, and the follow-ons will have the new 11-inch guns.
Yes. They'll have new secondary batteries, they'll have better
and let's be honest, Let's be honest, the first batch will have absolutely terrible 11-inch guns. That's the thing. They'll have the Deutschland first generation 11-inch guns, and that no one will be scared of them. They will probably, although I can hear Admiral Henderson now saying, "Sirs, the trouble is we just don't have enough ships to deal with all these threats around the world. We have Germany, which now has gone authoritarian and has these ships, and Italy, which is building those ships, and Stride Mediterranean, Japan, and I'm not. No, you won't be asking Panzer people going. I really think we need to order our new generation. We need to start filling up our orders, and especially as well in this scenario, it's more than likely Germany's invited to take part in London, in which case you have a new lower tier. So Germany will get whatever is the lowest tier. They'll be allowed 3 full-size capital ships.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, around that, 3 or 4. Maybe a 5th is like a one-off test build or something.
And then, France and Italy are going to have their numbers adapted because they're not going to accept being so close to Germany, are they?
No.
And if they have their numbers adjusted, so is Japan going to want their numbers adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
And to maintain the parity, America and Britain will want theirs adjusted to keep up. And
yeah. And the real trouble for Germany means that the building a new generation of battleships for everyone, therefore, will probably start in about 1931-32.
Yeah, you'll have the... honestly, the French response will probably still be the Dunkirks at first.
Yes, but they will probably have a fair number of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably double that order. Maybe even triple that order, so they have maybe 5 or 6 of them running around.
Yeah.
And then the actual iteration would then be, let's have 4 or 5 Richelieus.
Yeah.
Which would also be quite insane and funny. They might also say sod it to carriers because their concern will be the Mediterranean and then the Atlantic coast. And a secondary concern for Indochina, though their main concern was always France itself and North Africa because it's so close to the Mediterranean.
Okay. 2 battleships just did a fleet maneuver.
What's that supposed to mean?
They brought their battleship right alongside my Dane and they got a full broadside of torpedoes.
Speaking of, that leads us quite handily into the next question. Blackburn Maximus on YouTube asks, how many torpedoes are needed for an effective salvo in about World War I and World War II? Depends entirely on the situation. Ideally, you want no less than 6. Ideally. Because 6...
I mean, the ideal is to fire as many as you can on each broadside.
Yeah, but in terms of general rule of thumb...
For a good, torpedo spread to try and catch a ship in that spread, it's, about 5 or 6, depending on the size of your ship.
Yeah, 4 is the minimum, as in, yes, I carry enough torpedoes to do some form of spread. 4
I've
is...
only got a quad launcher, have all of them.
Yeah, or 2 sets of 2.
Yeah.
But 6 is about what you want, because 6 gives you... Remember, most navies don't do torpedo reload at sea, unlike the Japanese. So for most navies, those 6 torpedoes are what you've got. But as you'll know, throughout the war, you start to see it goes from 6 to 8, and then some ships carry 10.
The Americans and the British did torpedo reloads in the Pacific and the Atlantic a couple of times. As I recall correctly,
they did do that.
Poi Run, I believe it was, reloaded hers when she went in for Bismarck and was told to not to, and then just started flashing with her signal lamps.
I'm a pole.
No,
I'm a pole.
She'd run out at that time. She didn't carry as many torpedoes as the tribals. She actually asked them afterwards how they did it, and that was the first clue. That was the first clue I had that the figures about the tribals were really that I wasn't just imagining things when I was going, how are they firing so many salvos when they're running out of torpedoes? And it was when I started to realize the whole thing of, oh no, they were carrying more torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was the classes that specifically at the start of the war that would do torpedo reloads at sea, and in cases under fire would be the H class and the tribals. Other ones were less happy to do it, but they could still do it.
Yeah. It's one of the things of the tribals. You sort of go, oh, so you had a point which you called the torpedo store on the deck just after the torpedo launcher. Yeah. Okay. And it's the thing of the Royal Navy had ideas about having an auto-loader system that would load up the torpedoes, but the thing is they found it was getting so heavy, and also you have to remember the weight of the torpedoes themselves. They think they worked out on the tribals they would have to delete the aft 2 guns and all their shells, to free up enough weight to be able to reload the single launcher the tribal class carried, and have a launcher to load it twice over, so be able to fire 3 salvos.
It's a lot of weight.
And you think about that's a lot. That's a lot of firepower. That's a lot of loss for that ability to reload it twice.
Especially given that, like, the guns are the tribal's main thing.
Yes, because they are basically, as I've said before, they are cruiser-built destroyers.
Yeah, it's a lot of deletion on a system that is your main go-to for something that you probably won't want to use. And as I recall correctly from your own work, Dr. Clark, you said that the tribals didn't really do much training for the torpedo runs anyway, because their main weapon system and the main thing that they trained for was the gunfire.
Don't think I said they didn't do much training for the torpedoes. They did actually a lot. They usually had cracked torpedo men. It's just they, how do I put this politely? They were the only destroyers which equalized their training with gun drills and torpedo drills. And most torpedoes did a 2/3, 2-to-1 ratio of torpedo training versus gun training. And with tribals, it was a 50-50. But the tribals also did manage to pack in about 50% extra training hours than the others. And to be honest, people like Creswell started that by just going, well, we're going to train like it's wartime.
What did you
say?
I'm sorry, what name was that?
Tribals. Creswell.
Oh, wow, there's a ship named after a local town. Who knew?
Creswell?
Yeah.
He was the captain.
It's an author and a captain.
Wow, there's also a town.
That's the reason why my account on the joyous thing that is World of Warships is Creswell Vafridi.
Yeah, he was. I believe he was also captain of Bulldog when she captured 110.
Yeah.
So I very quickly now need to answer Montana's question. Quickly, because I accidentally might have sort of skipped it on YouTube, so I need to answer that to make recompense. He asks on YouTube, design an all-gun destroyer successor to the Daring class destroyers. Well, first of all, I assume you mean the 1949 Darings. The problem you...
Well, yes, I'd be concerned if it was the Type 45s, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Darings are built again in 1949.
There have been 4 classes called Darings.
Yeah. So the 1949 Daring class destroyers are built in the last period where it is acceptable to have a purely gun-based destroyer being new built.
Bear in mind that the successor class to the Darings effectively was the Counties, which were the first guided missile destroyers, which did have a pretty substantial gun armament themselves. They effectively had the 2 bow cannons off of a Daring, which I believe just had a better fire director.
Yeah, that was it.
They just swapped out their torpedoes for missiles, realistically.
Yeah,
and the rear guns were swapped out for missiles as well.
The problem you've got to bear in mind is exactly when the build cycle for the entire Daring class takes a decade. It starts in 1949 and it finishes in 1959, at which point you're then onto the Counties. Building a all-gun successor to the Darings basically requires me removing the Counties' rear directors for their missiles, their Sea Slugs, and replacing them with another 4-5 mount. At which point I've created a very, very expensive asset that is basically it's a millstone around the RN's neck. Because what the RN needed was a large, capable missile destroyer. What we've given them is a large, capable gun destroyer that has no means of defense against aircraft at any reasonable range. It has no long-range standoff anti-air missile capability. And if
I still believe they should have been made longer, given a slightly better hangar layout and longer flight deck, and I still think they should have been given an R45. But that's the county version they went with was not the largest design they considered, but it was probably the one which included was the smallest design, which included all the key points they were looking for.
Oh no, I'm not denying you're probably right, Dr. Clark. But again, that still wouldn't have been an all-gun destroyer. That's
the closest you get to an all-gun destroyer, which worked in that period.
Yeah, and what he's talking about is that he's asking me to design an all-gun destroyer, and I'm just sat here going, I don't.
Well,
want
you
to
have designed an all-gun destroyer, haven't you? You've basically told the person.
Yes.
I forgot that. They are
Montana.
Who?
Montana.
Well, yeah, Montana. Basically, the all-gun successor to the Darings would have been the counties without their missile systems and probably without their helicopter capacity because they'd had guns out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really a useful asset.
I do think they made the correct decision with the Batch 2s to replace the Super Firing 4.5 with a box setup. I think that was a really good idea.
I don't think so because I'm not as big a fan of the Exocet, but I think having the guns was kind of useful, and I think you could have included the Exocet without getting rid of the guns.
A quick reference,
especially when you consider the reliability of those guns in terms of their ability to provide air defense.
Yeah.
I put an image of the counties in Data at Sea chat with London, Leeds, Antrim, and Norfolk on exercises 1971, straight from the Wikipedia page, because it's actually a very nice image.
It is.
And that shows, I think that's also the time where all of them have the forward-facing twin super firing mounts.
So we did that. We've done YouTube, so I did 2 YouTubes back to back because I had to and some Montanas again because I accidentally missed it. So, from Darth Sidious, why was Bismarck's belt armor thickness reduced compared to the Scharnhorst's? That's something I actually do not know off the top of my head. Luckily, we have an expert. Or more of an expert than me, anyway.
How much they could actually roll. It's the limitation of their own production and actually getting it into service.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they wanted thicker armor but didn't get it.
Pretty much.
That's so Nazi Germany. That's.
If I recall, though, to make up for that, they adjusted the incline.
Yes, they
so
did.
It was more effective armor over distance rather than just thicker belt overall.
So, YouTube question. Blackburn Maximus, thoughts about torpedo cruisers pre and during World War II? Well, there aren't any torpedo cruisers prior to... Unless you're talking about torpedo gun... Oh, you're talking about the OG torpedo cruisers. That's World War One. You're talking about the cruisers that had lots of submerged tubes. Well... Basically, they were basically the same concept that will be revisited by the conversions of Kitakami and Oichi much later down the line, where they wanted to get a large number of torpedoes on a large, somewhat capable hull that could then be used to deliver those torpedoes during a fleet action. Possibly at night.
Here is Kitakami in Theatre at Sea. You can't quite see it because it's a not very good photograph. Yes, it is also OE, by the way, fleet.
Yeah.
Not Oichi. You can make out the long lance launchers on her starboard side there.
But again,
to the crane.
Like the Japanese didn't invent the torpedo cruiser; they just revived a concept that had been long dead, which they only really could do because of the capabilities of the long lance. As in, Dr. Clark, I'm talking a cruiser specifically designed to deliver a large number of torpedoes, not a cruiser carrying torpedoes. Like cruisers,
which is also kind of what BT wanted to do with HMS Eagle.
The less said about that, the better.
You have to remember, again, the Japanese are preparing to do ambush tactics at night. If you can launch that spread of torpedoes at night at a formation...
Good luck to you.
And you can also, if you launch them, and then if you think about it, you just turn to the other side and you launch your other side.
Yeah.
You've got so many torpedoes running through a formation.
Something is bound to get hit and explode.
Yeah. Especially if you have a couple of them doing it.
This is a similar procedure to what happened with the pre-World War I torpedo cruisers. because the whole concept was that it was basically the same thing. And most of the powers experimented with them, but the problem is they were being constructed at the same time that the torpedo boat destroyer as a concept was really starting to take off. So you see a lot of navies quietly drop purpose-built torpedo cruisers in favor of larger and larger torpedo boat destroyers.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm currently being a little greedy in this match. I've accounted for 4 of the enemies so far, and I'm trying to go for a 5th. I do feel greedy sometimes in World of Warships because yeah. But I'm literally doing this because if I'm going to turn hosting games on Twitch into something which I do fairly regularly, and having groups coming along, then I'm going to have to get better ships, which means I have to rebuild my old account.
Okay, so.
Well, that could be cool to say.
How you doing, Dragon?
Quite well. The reason why I've not been talking for a bit is because I'm currently talking with Foxos, who's having a bit of a panic attack.
Oh, it's alright.
He's not too happy.
If you need to go, and we understand completely.
Why do you think I've been quiet?
Yes, I mean, go completely. You don't have to be. I appreciate you being here, but I feel guilty keeping you from doing important things.
Oh, don't worry. I'll just make sure she comes takes out any panic on you, Fleet.
That's not quite what
I agree that she might find a good stress relief.
I'm not here to be stress relief.
You are though.
So that was. So, sufficiently nautical. Follow-up. If Langley wasn't lost so soon, would she have been reconverted to an escort carrier during the war?
No.
No, probably not. No. She would have probably remained as a seaplane tender.
She may have even been used to help train things like the AVPs, like the seaplane tenders that we use to service long-range flying boat patrols.
Yeah.
She may have been used to train people to do that, or to do that herself down in Australia.
Yep.
But she probably wouldn't have been reconverted back into a light carrier or an escort carrier, because there are far better platforms being produced and designed that it would be a complete waste of time.
Yeah, Montana, it's not my job. Blackburn, Maximus Ars. What are the host's favourite Azure Lane and or Kantai Collection characters? Well, I can answer the Kantai Collection bit. I'm very fond of Nagato and Mutsu.
Good choices, bit plain, but good choices.
Also, Takao, because Takao is...
Admittedly, I can't really say any comments because my favourite Kanklay character is Warspite, so...
That's fair.
Can't think too much.
I think she and Arc World are probably my favourite Kantai Collection characters.
Yeah.
I don't play or watch it, but I know the most about them, so...
Because actually, I've still got this full list of basic... it's a thing where you put the images of, who was your first ship, who was your first oath ship, what's your favourite of these categories I need to fill out at some point. Because Azure Lane has a lot of ships that are very good.
Yeah. I don't think I have a genuine favourite other than Hood at the moment. Oh, no, that said, Kearsarge, because Azure Lane Kearsarge is genuinely amazing.
Fair enough.
Kearsarge is a really good design.
One of the best designed riggings and character models, and honestly, just put her in a single fleet on her own and she will solo it. She is one of the most powerful main fleet elements in the game. On her own. And she fits incredibly well into any American lineup.
Seneca Nero asks, did US fleet submarines carry foldable boats? Regarding the one US submarine that sabotaged a train, how did that crew get to land? And I will be right back, and I'm going to leave it in the hands of the capable panel.
Dirigibles they carry, isn't it?
Yeah, they weren't actual flying boats. They were just sort of like a kit car, but for a plane, that they just have in a small space that they could easily unpack and open up and whatnot. You don't really see actual flying aircraft unless you were Surku or the Japanese submersible carriers.
I said dirigible boats, dirigibles. They're the ones you assemble.
Yeah,
that have that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that question then.
I didn't say flying boats. That'll be packing a flying boat.
I thought the question said flying boats.
No, it said what boats they use.
Big ball again.
The only question would be flying boats is if you were talking about probably the I-400s.
Yeah. Although I think was it the predecessor that was a test bed for I-400 was I-19. She had a set of small aircraft. I think they were the Sierrans. Sierrans?
Oh well, those were the Hood. Those weren't small. The Sierran float planes were fairly capable single-engine float planes. In fact, I'd go so far as to say they were the most capable float planes the IJN operated in terms of raw performance characteristics during the war.
Yeah.
It's not every float plane that can operate from a catapult and sling an 800-kilogram bomb out to a range of fairly long. What was it? So,
oh no, she had a Yokosuka E14Y float plane. Was I-19?
Yeah. So a lot of all of the Type Bs carried a float plane, a collapsible forward pod in front of the. Like if anyone's ever wondered why Japanese submarines have that sort of nose in front of the conning tower. That's the pod where they keep the float plane. Yeah, they have to actually break it up and assemble it on the catapult, then launch it, then recover it, then disassemble it, then put it back in the pod. Blackburn Maximus asks, Q&A, was there any technical issues that stopped ships just prior to World War I from having triple torpedo launchers?
Mainly they hadn't developed them really yet at that point and hadn't worked out the balancing for them. Because let's be honest, you have to coordinate it's not just a case of stick 3 tubes together. It's more than that. It's also,
how's the mount
work out how you're going to.
Yeah, how's the mount going to be balanced? How is it going to turn? How is it going to rotate? What are the arcs? Do we need to develop a new motor because it's heavier, or do we not need to develop a new motor? Is our current motor sufficient? Like, how are the stops going to be arranged? What's the firing mechanism for 3 tubes? Do we have to have? Are we going to fire them all at once, or are we going to have separate firing pins for each tube? There are things to consider.
Yes. It's a case of it's an obvious thing, but it's also not going to be a quick thing.
It's the same thing with triple turrets. It's pretty much the same thing that leads to triple turrets. Yes, it's an obvious thing, but there are things to overcome.
Although there is the fact that Vickers had one in 1904, so we'll leave that to one side.
Yeah.
And had built mock-ups and built it. So,
Admiral Wellesley asks, you've been tasked to preserve HMS Dreadnought as a museum ship in 1923. Under the Washington Naval Treaty, you want to make her no longer capable of combat operations. How do you do it, and what do you place within her as museum exhibits? Well, first of all, it's fairly easy. You just spike her guns.
No, you do the same as Mikasa.
No, we're not putting her in concrete.
That's what you had to do to render a ship beyond combat operations in that period. That's why Mikasa is in concrete. Literally not. All for fun reasons, you have to. Now the thing is, if I was doing it, I'd be slightly more sensible. I wouldn't put her in concrete. I'd concrete in the dry dock she was in.
Oh, that would do. Yeah, that would probably be better.
Yeah, I'd very much in the same vein that like Victory, her dry dock has been permanently shut because she's occupying. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, the thing about the Japanese was they weren't creative enough when it came to the rules.
We are, though.
Yes.
What was it we said last night? We always like to bend a good rule, even if we're the ones that helped to write it.
Yes.
Usually that's the reason we can bend it.
Except when I tried to bend things, I got my ass yeeted out of the... I was sent flying to the moon.
Goodbye.
But yeah, that's
It
basically...
works sometimes.
Yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. How long did it take for the Imperial Japanese Navy to reload their torpedoes? That's one for you, Dr. Clark. I'm just going to do a quick bit of research, but I don't know that off the top of my head.
If I remember correctly, it's measured in minutes, the entire process, but it's not fast, it's not slow, but it's not exactly super quick either.
3 to 5 minutes is the quick answer I just got. 3 to 5 minutes, which makes sense. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yes, C-Cube. Ramblings.
3 minutes if I remember correctly. 3 minutes if you're stable and portside. 5 minutes if you're moving around.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the Japanese ships used to be lightly enough built that, frankly, they were always moving around.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, Ramblings is almost 4 years old. On May 21st, 2025, Ramblings will have been going for 4 years.
There's that level we can take it out to dinner and expect it to actually sort of mildly behave itself.
Basically,
preferably not charging around the restaurant, doing weird things.
Mm-hmm. So that wasn't a question, that was more just a statement. Darth Sidious asks, during the interwar years, what positions posts in the Royal Navy and US Navy can be considered as sunset positions? I think for the RN, remember again, a sunset position isn't when it's the last position that an admiral takes or an officer takes before retirement, basically.
Commander-in-Chief, Portsmouth or Plymouth.
Yeah.
And for the US Navy?
Any UK-based naval base, really.
And the USN?
I guess with the exception of Devonport and maybe...
USN are pretty much the same.
Yeah, but which bases? Do you have any idea, or do you not want to really call that?
Any base which is any domestic base command is usually not a good thing for your career. But you also have to remember the US Navy, you can only go as high as Rear Admiral before they no longer need to employ you. Everything other than that is basically a brevet promotion for this period.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, thing is, you can be dismissed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So, lots of positions turn into sunset positions. But basically, yeah, if you're given command of a base, yeah...
That's basically your last posting. Unless something dramatic happens, like war were declared. And
even then, it could still be your last posting.
Yeah. From Blackburn Maximus, Q&A, thoughts on the Seacat missiles? Okay, so Seacat as designed and when built originally is a very ingenious way to fit anti-aircraft point defense missiles to warships without having to dramatically alter the ships in question, because it is designed to pop into a quad or sextuple Bofors mount. You pull the Bofors out, you put Seacat in, and that's something you can do. Or you can put it on the deck somewhere where there's space if your ship doesn't have a Bofors mount. It's a very quick and easy way to proliferate point defense AA missiles into the fleets of various countries. However, it rapidly outstays its welcome in a lot of navies. It is kept around far after it should have been retired, replaced, or removed from certain ships. That's my opinion.
There are reasons, though, that happens.
Oh, no. I'm aware there are reasons, but my opinion is, in an ideal world, you should have really been looking to... Honestly, I think once you get past the point where Seacat is a viable point defense missile system, for my money, I would take it off and put blind fire Bofors back on. Put radar-directed blind fire Bofors back on. Especially some of the modern mounts that appear in the 60s and 70s. In certain navies. That's, for my money, is what you would do.
But are you not also currently developing, at that point, Seawolf?
You are, but you can't do with Seawolf.
So you are not. So you're going to just. So you are trying to justify politically building Seawolf, and yet you're saying you're replacing your current generation of missile with Bofors 40 mils.
No, that's only for the
ship. This is not wartime. This is peacetime. So basically, you're saying that your missile system is terrible. Why are you expecting me to fund, as a treasury, the procurement of this new missile system if you're taking off the old one because it's so useless?
Well, the problem. Are the treasury really that banal?
And replacing of guns.
That's only for the
treasury.
That's only for
I'm not even in full treasury mode here. I'm in treasury minister mode.
That's only for
you want to deal with the civil servant?
That's only for the ships that are carrying.
Okay, I need to stretch for that one.
That's only for the ships that are carrying Seacat.
Brain.
The Seawolf.
Luckily, Steve is already here to keep me polite and kind.
The Seawolf. The Seawolf is for new build RN ships. The Seacat on older RN ships can't be replaced with Seawolf.
So you're telling me I'm spending all this money developing this missile and it can't be used on my ships?
No, it can be used on the new ships we're building it for our new generation of Type 42s and Type 22 frigates we're building.
But you want me to take? Oh, you want me to? You're saying the old missile is so bad, you want to replace it with? Want me to spend more money on guns whilst also procuring this new missile system?
No,
which I'm also probably going to have to replace with guns at some point because that'll probably also go bad.
No.
So why don't I just buy guns for all of them? Or why don't I just buy the American missiles because they seem to have faith in their missiles? Why don't you have faith in the British missiles?
It's not that I don't.
Is there something you're telling me about it?
Minister, it has been 20 years since the introduction of Seacat. The missile has...
And you're telling me all the money we've spent in the meantime on upgrades, on keeping it in service, have been pointless?
No, it's just that we've reached the limits of what the system can do. There is no feasible...
So don't tell me, you were getting funding... which company are you going to go work for after you're leaving this government? Because this is where it comes interesting, because don't tell me, you had to deal with one company, now you've got to deal with Bofors instead, so you want to sell their guns to us?
No, I mean, they have... well, we already use Bofors products in our armed forces. Already. We have a working relationship
with them. But are those programs you've already been part of? Oh, how close is the working relationship?
No. Are they really like this? Because this would explain a lot about procurement.
Yes, they are.
So you can't.
And by the way, if anyone thinks that's just the UK, wait till you go to France, America, anywhere. They're all the same.
No wonder no one can get anything done.
Or the other benefit of a fun thing is when the minister, if you're a civil servant, comes back from a party where they've been told something. Oh, God help us all. That's in a nice way. If you want a good example of that, Elon Musk's recent post about drones versus the F-35.
Yeah, we don't talk about it. It was already early. We don't talk about it.
That is literally a casebook example of, I heard this at a party.
We don't talk about it.
Oh, great.
Because we don't talk about it.
And it made sense to me because I believe in the future.
We don't
talk
about
it. Yes, you do. The future isn't here yet, sir, is it?
And nor do I think he knows anything about it. But let's move on.
No.
He
is now a government minister in the United States.
He's not.
Let's avoid,
yes, he is.
Let's as an admin, let's avoid politic talk for now.
Yes, good
especially
idea.
Current event stuff.
So we did that. We've done a YouTube question. So Fleet is scrolling. Chandler Lord asked, is this HMS Warspite in a nutshell? And it's showing the scene where the medic is from one of the TF2 cartoons, where the medic is telling the devil that he surgically added 8 more souls, so he only owns 1/8 of his soul and therefore can't claim him as a dead person. Yeah, that would scan. Warspite is stealing the souls from everybody she kills. That would make... So therefore she cannot be killed.
Yeah.
That would scan.
I can see that.
Yeah, that would scan. Lions, yeah. I have watched all of Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister.
And yet you weren't prepared for that conversation.
I was prepared, but not for how absolutely banal they can be. I would expect a little basic... Thing is, in Yes Minister, the civil servants have a basic level of common sense. That conversation had no common sense in it at all.
At the Yes Minister's time, when they were writing it, you still had specialists in the Ministry of Defence. Now you are basically looking at the senior. Most of the civil service now these days are generous who go from department to department. Especially the ones who are actually going to come in contact with ministers.
So we did Seacat, we did Discord, YouTube. Thoughts on Seacat? Black and Black Maximus, favorite Sakura Empire Azur Lane character. Again, I don't play Azur Lane. I don't follow Azur Lane. I can't really answer that question just because I don't.
Again, and I keep going. You're getting these questions from your audience. They're interested in it. Therefore, you should go and start looking for it.
Yeah, but thing is, in order for me to have a favourite character, I would
communicate. Better communicate with them.
Yes, but I'm not going to go.
I will drop mine, and it's going in chat. Mikasa.
Blackburn.
Very nice. I can hardly. I think I would go Akagi, but I can answer Mikasa.
I'm going to add that as a note
Hey,
to
Yuki.
Dr. Clark's channel to Akagi and Joya.
Mikasa is quite a nice ship.
Of that particular nation.
Is this the one of favorite Sakura Empire ships?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Ooh.
I will also remind people I do not need to be pinged.
I know what Foxes would be.
The only reason that I should be pinged in this server is because the server is on fire or someone in the server needs to be lit on fire. Please keep that in mind.
It's the one thing that Hooded See when Fleet was an admiral, Fleet didn't mind getting pinged. For some reason, everyone else minds getting pinged. I don't understand it.
I keep track of many servers, Fleet. If I can reduce that as much as possible, and the only time I get pinged is for emergencies, then that's fine by me. And I would rather it be like that.
Also, congratulations, you're an admin now. Congratulations, Hood. Promotion!
What do you mean now? I've been an admin since like 2022.
No. Think of what's happened today. What the title of the stream is. And then apply that resulting realization.
Right, okay.
Congratulations, you've been promoted.
Yippee.
But
and so is Dragon.
I know Fox's favourite is Shinano.
That's fair.
Good choice.
Shinano's comfy.
Again, I still can't understand why, Fleet doesn't go and do the research.
Look, there's a difference between
honestly,
doing
mine's
research.
Probably either Ibuki or Harakuyu.
There's a difference.
Or Hakuryu.
There's a difference between doing the research for historical topics and doing research on Azure Lane, because one
Good
is.
Fleet. Do you know how much Azure Lane does with museums and various things?
I am aware of that.
Yes.
And do you know how popular Azure Lane is to the average consumer? It is part of the thing that has helped people learn about naval history.
Oh, don't remind me. I'd rather forget.
Yes. Well, you shouldn't. In I say all these things are good avenues for people as long as they come into naval history. I don't care where they come from, and I will help them. I will actively encourage them because encouraging people to love naval history is what I want to do.
I'm not disparaging.
Since we're just talking about this to a degree, yes, Leslie, Margie actually has 2 characters in AL. In fact, actually, does she have a 3rd even?
I know about 2.
She might do.
My researchers found the 2.
So there's the original
I was just quickly checking if there was a meta one that's been mentioned at all, but
I don't think that has.
So there's 2. You've got Amagi as the battle cruiser and Amagi as a carrier.
Oh no, that's true actually, Blackman. There's Amagi-chan, the child.
Yeah.
Destroy the child.
I get right. If we include Amagi-chan, then yes. But honestly, I despise the little ships.
No, I know about the one which Enterprise had with the commander. Has the commander been cheating on Enterprise?
Well, technically speaking, Clark, due to his unique position...
If the commander had cheated on Enterprise, I would be very careful around Texas because she's the type to take revenge.
No.
She is very much. You should be a one.
Enterprise is not the one you need to worry about. Where is she?
No, I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't worried about Enterprise. I was saying if he cheated on Enterprise, I'd be worried about Texas. You don't mess with Texas.
Viking
in any of her
Battleship
forms.
Texas in Azure Lane. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, well, would you cheat on one of her best friends?
There we go. Found it.
No.
The one you need to be scared of.
You're nice, but you're not gonna live.
That said, I am extremely gay, so it doesn't. There's a different standard for me.
Hood will agree with me on this. Enterprise and Texas are not the scary ones. It's going to be Taiho you have to worry about. Because there is Taiho-chan.
Taiho has also, in a technical standpoint, canonically killed someone for speaking to the commander.
Like she has, she
That's
will
canon.
actively murder
That is
someone.
a canon event that she has killed someone for speaking to the commander.
That, can I get a Billy Big Steps in the other direction, please? That girl is not safe.
You think that'll help? She's a carrier.
I'm going to Antarctica. She can't get me in Antarctica.
Actually, they can. That was the whole thing in one of the recent events where Japan, America, Russia, and the Soviet Union head to Antarctica. It's where Sovietsky Soyuz gets a rigging upgrade.
Why? What is that? What is that?
It's also where we learn about Tiamat Mercuria's alternative timeline and her whole shenanigans of being able to basically alter reality for a moment.
I'm going to the moon.
I just said basic naval history would teach you not to run from a carrier, so
I'm going to the moon.
I'm questioning. Do I have to start asking you a carrier question as well as a Trafalgar question every week?
I'm going to the moon. I will be safe on the moon. I cannot be touched on the moon.
Actually, about that,
Oh, you can't be serious.
we can.
Let me guess. They have ship girl Hanabu saucers now.
No, but you do
That
have
would be quite
Princeton
funny,
Meta
though.
and her spaceships.
A few things.
Can we also appreciate some of the meta ships are very, very cool.
Oh, some of the meta ships are awesome.
If we were to have a look at one, for example.
Fleet's losing it.
So I'm going to post it in chat because I want someone to laugh at it because I love it. Hunter meta. Hunter and Hunter meta are just giant references to Bloodborne, and I love it. I'm here for it. Give me more. Give me more Miyazaki themed ship girls. It'll be great.
You've also got Helena Meta is also a really cool one, I'd say.
Oh, Leslie! Now that is a good. That looks good.
That's a good model. That's a great model of the model.
That is an amazing.
That is a great model.
Yeah. Also, just heard a word from Foxo. Technically speaking, yes, Shinano was her favorite, but now Musashi's came along.
Oh.
That's
another floofy fox.
You didn't even know your girlfriend's. You didn't even know your girlfriend's favorite.
Oh no, I did. It's the fact that she keeps adoring Shinano. But it's certain other aspects I can't currently mention here why she prefers Musashi.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I find the meta ships fascinating. Especially Metaga Neisner is honestly a quite interesting story of how she's the last of her timeline and will literally try to die for Bismarck but failed, and then reads the letter from our timeline's version of Bismarck and basically breaks down into tears after fighting for potentially millennia.
The timeline's a bit wobbly.
Yeah, this feels...
What did that letter say?
We don't know, but it's basically a direct handwritten letter from our Bismarck basically saying that she knows her pain, but we still need you and we need you to try and help us. Will you please lend your assistance, is basically what the community believes. Because she explicitly says, I don't care for Ironblood. You're not my Ironblood. And I don't care for your world. But I do care for Bismarck. And I cannot refuse a direct request from her.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Fleet, there's even one of your favourites as a meta ship.
Oh,
Meta Bayern exists.
Okay, look, Bayern and me have had a bit of a falling out as of recently.
I'll be honest, I don't entirely remember what the whole Meta Bayern's thing was because I didn't do too... Was that... Light and Martyrium event. Okay, right. I remember bits of that, but not all of it. I'll need to go back over that. But hey, she's actually relatively strong for once. She just had to basically abandon her humanity almost.
In a ship called Bairn, she ever had humanity?
Yeah,
No, like standard Bairn was pretty good in AO.
Yeah. Like, she's not a strong ship, but she's actually a good personality, at least. Yeah, I'm awful, but I'm at least a good teacher and a good bookkeeper.
You know...
Much like Colm.
Anyway.
And then, of course, the most glorious of metas. Queen Elizabeth meta, God Empress of Mankind.
So, which was this? This was the...
yes, we'll move on.
And HMS Queen Elizabeth being the God Empress of Mankind does not surprise me.
We did that already. Excuse me.
Can I?
No. Lazy
Can I?
No.
Don't worry. We'll take it over. We'll carry it on.
I mean, to be fair, I'm doing 3-hour stints now on Mondays, as best unless it's a special event. Because basically, the reason is I want to build up enough of a questions backlog to run on Wednesdays and Fridays. So we're going for another hour, and then I'm going to open the server with a Hoi 4 game, my own server with a Hoi 4 game. And if you want to join us at the clock, you are very welcome to.
I might do this evening. I might do a little
Oxo
bit
is
later,
requesting
if
you
that
go
makes sense.
longer, Fleet.
No, I'm sticking to my guns
Yeah.
because that means there'll be a nice backlog for Wednesday and Friday.
Right, I'll get the rope then.
No, I don't want the rope. Fleet needs his neck intact.
You need rope?
Lazy
Just need
author.
a picture of Ho, surely.
You see, I'm immune. Lazy author San asks, in Azure Lane, the game, the battleship Mikasa is to a certain extent depicted as similar to Togo Hayashiro, and being against war with the Azure Lane faction. So what if, during the period of the Washington Treaty discussions about what to do with Mikasa, she magically became a ship girl? Could that affect changes within the IGN factions, considering their entire institution now is a living personification in the form of one of their most famous flagships, who is also basically Togo Hayashiro but female? Which is also going to which is also probably going to confuse the heck out of the real Togo Hayashiro, who is still alive at this point.
Also, this is kind of
In a nicest way.
generous to a degree. Go on, Clark.
Well, there's a couple of things. One, Togo isn't really about peace. He's just sensible. He doesn't think war with Britain and America is a sensible idea for Japan. Secondly, and I would put this point on, if Mikasa became a ship girl, I'm fairly certain the Japanese would suddenly get a massive amount of religious fervor. I also think that she would be regaled as a living deity, because let's be honest, that's pretty much what she would be.
That's
Counting
something
her
interesting then.
Counting her as a ship in the Washington Naval Treaty would be impossible. But also, how many navies on Earth would want to fight a living god?
I can imagine the Royal Navy going, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
The Royal Navy would probably go, they'd give it a go, but it'd also probably go, what's going on? Why are we doing this?
Can we do... I can imagine them going, can we do this? How did this
Can I
happen?
just say this? Very nice people who keep inviting me to join clans. I am nowhere near good enough yet. I'm not joining anyone. It's not me being rude. It's just me going, no.
I think the reason why they're inviting you to clans is, well, some of them might be because you get economic bonuses.
Yeah.
But like, a lot of clans these days are just basically, this is just basically for people to do stuff.
Yes, but there's been a couple of people who sent messages going, messages coming through going, oh, please join our clan, Dr. Clark. And I'm going, no. Not because I'm being rude, but literally because I am not, my ships are not good enough yet.
Yeah, which is fair. But also, so if she is treated like a living deity, then what could be interesting is she has a whole policy of the commander must lead from the front. Which would be intriguing to see how that would affect the various different other officers. She also basically has a high priority on a very strong logistics train. Because otherwise everything falls apart. So I'm just curious basically how her personality and her beliefs might affect the actual Japanese military structure.
Well, logistics is going to become a very interesting thing, but also you're suddenly going to have this female presenting godship who's going to be part of your command structure, whether you want it or not. And probably she's going to have a shrine created to her, and they're probably going to first generation are probably going to be a bit in second generation are going to try and write her out the way and try and pretend she's just a token thing they can ignore. Third generation, who are going to be the younger ones when she first comes about, are going to start listening to her because she has all this experience and knowledge and these understanding. Fourth generation, by that point, she probably will be de facto the commander.
I will be
advice given to the commander. There's also going to be a lot of effort of working out whether they can or how they can upgrade her and upgrade their god to give her more power. But yes, it's going to depend what happens. But basically, if you imagine she could still be around today, she'd probably still be around today.
Washington Naval Treaty, right?
Yes.
To live a long time, yeah.
This is going to be very amusing because Mikasa has a couple of problems. She really doesn't understand more modern stuff. She's very much a product of her age. Like, for instance, when she does not understand how carriers work.
Well, the thing is,
like, they are this alien concept to her that she just does not understand.
But
Dragon,
she would learn.
Yeah, Dragon, you're talking about Mikasa as she is in Azure Lane.
No,
those problems don't exist here because she becomes a ship girl in 1920 in this alternate question that we're answering, which means she retains the knowledge. And also, she retains the knowledge that she has as a ship. She's existed to that point.
But in this period, Toga Hayachiro will be. No, in a nice way. In this period, Toga Hayachiro is still alive, and who's going to probably adopt her as his daughter? Who's the only person who can sort of basically claim, in a nice way, you should come and live into my household, and I will and live with me, to be taken care of and raised and understand the world.
Mm-hmm.
In the nicest way, she's going to end up being the student of Toga Hayachiro Mitsumasa Yonai. She's going to come that road. She's going to be taught. She'll learn all about that. She will know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a more interesting question: is she in her rigging fit in an aircraft and go for a flight?
Well, she can just not summon her rigging and just go as a person. This also
becomes another option. Does she, on her inspiration, end up with, because it converts and trainer, they probably will teach her a lot about flying, does she end up forming an air service whereby the Japanese end up having their air service, the naval air service, be female pilots? What the impact that would have?
Yes. Just to be clear, the reason, as Cyclic has said, just very quickly answer this since I've seen it. That's clearly been put together by Chinese and Russian sources. Because I mean the bias is very clear and obvious.
But also, in regards to a point earlier, Night, we're saying BB Amagi and CB Amagi are the same ship. No, they're not, technically. They are classed as two different entities, and also, they don't quite share the same capabilities in a number of regards. And again, by the actual thing, going off the actual thing of earlier, they are classed as two entirely separate entities. Yeah, so BB, as Wellesley said, BB Amagi and CV Amagi are two different people. It's like the fact that we have CV Karga and Battleship Karga. Just answering that because I'm catching back on the YouTube questions.
So I need to go back upwards. So hello, Cyclic, welcome back for the last hour of ramblings. Nice to be here. I think we can both laugh hysterically at that chart of Sea Whizzers because... No. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Back up, uppity, 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 up. So that was that one. So YouTube question: thoughts on the ships from Howl's Moving Castle? They're very clearly.
Never watched it.
They're very clearly stylized. I have multiple times. I like my Ghibli movies. I really do like my Ghibli movies. The battleships from Howl's Moving Castle are... I can never decide whether they're dreadnoughts or pre-dreadnoughts. Because it's very
hard... You like the Ghibli movies, but you don't like Azure Lane. You don't make sense sometimes.
Well...
Sometimes?
Anyway, So the thing with Hal's Moving Castle is that it's very hard to judge the caliber of the ship's guns, and also each of the ships seems to have a different design. Well, actually, no. So they seem to have 3 forward. Again, it's very hard to judge them. They're very clearly. They have some tumble home. They're very clearly ships in the French. Honestly, no, I don't want to say French. They're very much more ships in the Russian style.
I've returned.
Looking back, Hood.
As in the Russian style they adopted from the French. That's very much what they are. And it's kind of hard to say anything more than that in any concrete manner. Given
So is that one of the ships from it? I presume that Wellesley's been posting and Sea Dodders.
Yes, those are the So,
I hate those.
So the Sea Dodders one is a little bit of is a not quite accurate. The one Wellesley's posted is, like I said,
those are. I mean, it's a
those are
like
they're very clearly stylized.
Cartoonish.
Yeah, they're very clearly stylized. Although it is hinted that that's not actually how they look, and it is kind of a imprinting on the minds of. So as in, like it's sort of they look really impressive as they're steaming out, and they look.
No, they don't.
No, just would you let me, please? And they look really impressive as they're steaming out, and they look really, the guns look bigger than they are. And then you look at the one ship that manages to limp back into harbour, and you'll notice she looks a lot less flamboyant and looks more realistic in her scale without the silly gun pointing out the front. As in, because remember, magic exists in this universe, so it's possible that magicians could have been using their effects to make the ships look more impressive. Whereas if you look at that, she looks much more like a heavily armed pre-dreadnought, to be sure, but just a standard pre-dreadnought with a tumble-home design.
I think I know why Fleet likes these. They remind him of Hoche. And the various other French pre-dreads.
Oh, why did I knew you were going to go there? Why can I not have things that I like in peace?
Because, honestly, even looking at this more normal one, that just looks like an explosion waiting to happen to me.
The explosions, I hate to break it to you, Chief, the explosions already happened.
So I would also like to point out that some of them also remind me a lot of, as Fleet mentioned them as I was returning and put my headphones on, a lot of the Russian Imperial ships. One of my favorite Russian Imperial ships is the Gromoboi, going in chat now. And it does have that funny little bow cannon. The ship itself was all right. But it mostly spent its time as a commerce raider in the Russo-Japanese War.
Until it was caught.
Until she was scuttled, unfortunately. Which...
You can understand.
Well, she wasn't scuttled. She was run aground and spent the rest of the war out of action. Was transferred to the Baltic Fleet and got there in, 1911. I forget which. But she was eventually sold for scrap. Bearing in mind, this is also a 1900 commissioning date.
She's part of that whole tranche of large commerce raiding cruisers the Russians build. There's like a whole tranche
which were
of them.
Pretty good cruisers.
Yeah, and the British then respond to them with a series of one-offs, which is not how you design a navy, and the British then stop building it in relatively short order. But yeah.
Should also be considered that for that time, the British were also considering is the large surface raider type combatant viable, or should we do this as a design so that to stay? We've done it and say that's not going to work for us, and that's kind of what they went for.
Mm-hmm.
You've been keeping Fleet in line, Big Love. You have, good.
Hey,
someone commented earlier, by the way, is that a Watson figure?
Really?
Did I what? That was that. Then YouTube, Discord, even. Oh, of course. What would happen to Fleet if Hoche was announced as one of the new ship girls for Azur Lane?
Can't become as big as
We're going to
that.
skip that question just to stay within the rules of the
I think
channel.
we've actually.
Moving on.
I think we've answered that at least 3 times over the past 2 weeks. So
I
let's
mean,
skip that one.
I can answer it. I just go, oh, okay, and move on because I don't play Azure Lane, and I'm not bothered.
That's okay. We'll pull together and get you a body pillow for it.
Sol is working on the art.
I will not purchase that. I will not purchase that, and please do not send that.
Who
to
said
my
anything
house.
about you purchasing it?
Please do not.
It's just
send
going
that
to
to
show
my house.
up.
Please do
Foxo's
not.
already found your IP address, apparently, so...
That is disconcerting.
That's not hard to do.
You know... Yeah, it's not necessary. No, we're not. I'm not. No,
We're not giving that out.
Yeah, I think it's because at one point Fleet was doing a game at one point and actively did give it out, but which
Anyway.
actually probably found it. But moving on. Next question, Fleet. YouTube.
Yes,
Go.
YouTube question. Which would be from 1981 for Foxo and Dragon. So Dragon's gonna have to answer this one. In Azure
We're back
Lane,
here.
is it reasonable? Oh, for the love of Mike, not this again.
No, this one's actually slightly different.
Yeah.
I think.
For Foxo and Dragon in Azure Lane, is it reasonable to think that Shipgirl knowledge should and would change events?
I am going to assume you're referring.
It's the same thing all over again. We've done this every.
No, he's been talking previously about technology. Can, for instance, Illustrious just give sea meteors to Britain in like 1939? Which, no, she can't. That's not how that works. But in this case, I'm assuming once again they're referring to the ship girl appearing in our timeline, because otherwise they wouldn't know of the events. So thing. But going off our timeline, yes, actually, probably could change things up a fair bit, because they do have their knowledge of what happened events-wise. So they would know, right, say it went back in 39. Oh, heads up, Hood's going to be sunk in the Battle of Denmark Strait. This happened in our timeline, sort of thing.
I don't know, because at the same time there's going to be like Paul Atreides style mental scarring for Saratoga and a lot of the other ships that get used in the Crossroads tests.
Oh yes, like there's going to be very much a few of them going. So you nuked us and murdered us. Please don't do this again.
What am I
Well,
doing?
no,
What am I doing?
It's less a case of
I'm
that, more
fairly
just
sure
them having visions
Saratoga
of the
starts
future.
giving a kicking.
Yeah.
I think Saratoga starts giving a kicking quite
Wheatley, I
hard.
feel Nevada would be pretty spiteful. Yeah.
Oh, what
Honestly,
Yeah.
Saratoga probably Saratoga. The easiest way is Saratoga goes and tells Admiral King exactly what happened and how she was used in nuclear tests, and just says they hurt me. At which point King goes, "Well, wasn't I captain of you once?" Yes. So they nuked my daughter, one of my daughters.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And then just sits back and watches as King goes merrily through. Quite a lot of people.
Whereas admittedly, yes, the Axis ones might be saying, "Do not do this, you idiots."
Cease.
I don't want to go to the North Cape. I don't want to go up there.
I don't want to go to Bikini
Honestly,
Atoll.
I don't. Also, I don't want to serve a fascist regime.
No.
Stop.
To be fair, they've mostly accepted that. They will probably accept, yeah, if we're forced to work with you, because they probably will be. They might not have a choice. Because
Sorry,
of
where's
but
the artwork of Prince Eugen, Azure Lane?
Honestly,
There it is. One
the
second.
one which is honest, I think might be one of the saddest is Tirpitz. Tirpitz, who was always
Just
alone in the north.
continually gets bombed.
Yeah, like
Does
And
that
she kind of left
yeah.
on her own.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like, and she brings it up multiple times of how she, even as a ship girl, she is scarred by the fact that she cannot connect to anyone because of this. So she might and the problem is she might just accept to go back up north because she just doesn't know anything else.
That's a horrifying thought.
If anything, hopefully she'll say, "Please make sure the fighter squadron's sent to the right fjord this time."
Um.
But yeah, so yes, they probably could affect real world events.
So, that was that. This is
Hold
this
on,
and
where's
that.
the other artwork of?
This is
So-
this,
so-
and that is that, and I am not possible.
There is also some artwork of Takao being very sad, wearing individual items of clothing from the other Takao class.
The sole survivor.
Yeah.
Hello, Atom Bomb.
We. Come on, Fleet. Use your brain. It's not like you've got much else left.
We are waiting on this, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
you
never
haven't
been that nasty. I've never suggested that one to him.
Like Fleet, you haven't even been up for 36 hours. You have no excuse.
C-Dot has asked, is there a...
No. Last sleep I had was Wednesday night into Thursday morning.
Yeah, he's suffering. He's a functioning insomniac. I don't understand how he does it. C-Dot has asked, is there a later class frigate HMS Unicorn Azure Lane personage?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, there is no.
Well, the
that-
unicorn's the support carrier.
Well, that was easy. Next one. Question and answer for the hosts that have them. What is their largest scale model ship, and what scale is it? I haven't. I've lost.
Give me a moment. It's literally sitting above me.
I lost my model ship. I used to have a
Does my Lego Belfast count
I would think
Yes.
so.
as the largest?
Yeah,
Are you
would
referring to
think
the Kobe
so.
ones?
I think. Yes, I have a Lego Belfast. That's pretty darn big compared to even our other models.
Give me
Boat.
a sec. Belfast
I
is
also have
1
an
to
Ark Royal.
300. Belfast's 1 to 300. Because I've got 1 to 300 will be the same as me, and that's
I
probably
used to have a Lego USS Enterprise. I don't anymore.
mine's probably my 1 to 200 scale Yamato. 1 to 100 from Kobe from Yamato. After that, it
Kobe!
would probably be Graf Zeppelin, and then probably Bismarck. Because after that, it's Eugen, Warspite, Belfast, Bliskovica, and a Type 7, which are much smaller.
I see what you did there, Sierra.
Kobe.
Ain't a ship though.
Good times.
Yeah, if we're
just gonna
exclude- if we
post
go-
this
wait.
in chat. That I've
Model
just
ship, it says,
taken
right?
now.
Technically speaking, I do have one that's bigger.
Oh no.
I
What?
do have my, like...
I think by
I'm saying-
technicality, my largest is probably the one, the two of the hood that I have that are there. One being the as built, the other being the most likely 1942, 1941 rebuild,
Good for you.
giving her the King George V style superstructure. I have a Kirov somewhere, but it's not as big. I've also got one of Renown down there. There's a Warspite. There's a Graf Spee. I've
Location
got some TIE
confirmed.
ships from Star Wars. I've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff up there as well.
I do love.
I was going to say...
Oh,
my
I just
lar-
noticed. I need to dust again. Jesus.
In terms of sheer scale, my largest is the UCS Venator.
What?
That's fair. That's fair.
Like,
I was
that
considering
thing is
getting the
like a
custom
meter
made,
and a half long, so...
Oh, that's right. I actually used to have
I do want the Super Destroyer as well.
a 4.5 foot long
thank you.
model of USS Nimitz.
That's pretty cool.
I don't anymore. I gave it to a cousin, but ain't no fucking room. I haven't had any room for it for I don't know 10 years.
Oh, some new article of Hosh I've just found while looking for other things. Very nice. I'll have to keep that put away for future review. So, Darth Sidious asks, if Germany had built the 1915 aircraft carrier proposal, I presume that's the Flugcruiser that they were planning to build.
I believe so.
How would the Kriegsmarines carrier designs look like? Let me just quickly
It's probably referring to the German aircraft carrier I,
let me just have a look.
which could theoretically carry 8 to 10 fighters and 15 to 20
Oh
bombers.
yes, that one. Yeah, it is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
The carriers and the whole system would be a lot better because I'd actually have a working idea of what will work.
So supposed to carry 10 wheeled aircraft or 13 to 19 seaplanes. Presumably they would have been like Ark Royal, aka wheeled seaplanes. They go off on the wheels and come back on the water. So who was it going to be? Yeah, it was going to be. So it was going to be a liner conversion. Unfortunately, it was drawn up in 1918. But assuming that for some reason the 1918 proposed design is available in 1915, and they start then, for a small conversion of about 12,000 tons, given that she's complete in terms of engines and everything else already, I don't know. Was she going to have a flight deck? Yes.
Yeah.
So the hangars, so they're above the structural decks. It's fairly easy. They're literally bolting on top the stuff on top of the thing, and she has a speed of 21 knots, so she's working with the High Seas Fleet, not the first scouting group. Sorry, she carries 13 fixed wing or 19 folding wing seaplanes and 10 wheeled aircraft, so she carries all of them at the same time. Apparently the float planes were supposed to carry out the strike missions, and the wheeled aircraft were supposed to be the fighter cover, from what I can read. So, assuming... I'll be generous and say that they managed to finish the conversion by 1917. That gives them a year of operable usage of the ship. She'll probably go on a few sorties with the High... Because remember, the High Seas Fleet does sortie in this period. She'll probably go on a few of the sorties with the High Seas Fleet. She may actually operate semi-independently. Because she's not considered a... Well, she probably won't be considered an asset that's that valuable. Because, again, experimental. Like, it's not like...
I think she...
Like, if Germany loses...
I think she might be considered quite valuable.
If Germany loses an experimental carrier, big whoop. If Germany loses one of their battle cruisers or battleships, oh my goodness, there goes a lot of our fighting power.
But the counterpoint is she could provide a lot of scouting for the battle fleet.
Yes, she can, but the difference
So she's potentially an incredibly valuable asset.
No, she's an incredibly...
Potentially, but they have to realize that.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
It's the jump from the planning to the realization. The realization is the big.
That's why I'm just wondering. I think it is possible that they will realize this instead of necessarily treating it as a disposable asset.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
I don't think Fleet's calling it a disposable asset. He's just saying that it's going to be.
To lose, but,
No, he's saying that they're less afraid to lose it than a battle cruiser or a battleship.
Losing it isn't going to change. Isn't going to meaningfully change Germany's chances of winning the war.
To be fair, losing even a single battle cruiser or battleship wouldn't meaningfully change, especially in 1917.
The thing is, Dragon, the German Navy is always thinking in terms... During the First World War, the High Seas Fleet is always thinking the numbers game. Always thinking, how many ships have we got operational? How many ships have the British got operational? Because bear in mind, the High Seas Fleet is constantly trying to get intel on what British ships are down for repairs, what's in for maintenance, what's the current numbers between us and them, how close is... Because then they're always trying to get the information. They're looking for opportunities where more British ships are down than normal for repairs or maintenance or in dockyard hands. To take opportunities where the risks of combat are lowered. Every ship matters. Why do you think Seydlitz is kept around when by all rights she should have been a constructive write-off when she returned from Jutland?
The more interesting question is if the Germans build one in 1915, the British take the early designs they have for Hermes, which were around, and push them through earlier.
You'll probably see a rush also done on Eagle as well. You'll probably see a rush put on Eagle. And
Eagle's not built till 1917. But there, of course, that if they do have an earlier operating carrier and they do find it and you consider it useful, then at a certain point...
I mean, to be fair...
What impact does that have on decisions like the Admiral class decision not to convert them into carriers, etc.?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Dr. Clark...
It's a really interesting long-term thing.
To be fair, Dr. Clark, the British do actually have an equivalent already. And
August.
No. In terms of actually...
Are you referring to Ark Royal here?
Yeah, the original Ark Royal.
Ark Royal's not.
No, she's not even close to being comparable.
No.
She's not in terms of size. She's not, but in terms of mixed aircraft.
No. Ark Royal is the first purpose-built seaplane carrier.
If you literally look at her, you can see just how different she is. Like, I'll post an image in
No.
chat.
Oh, never mind. Hang on. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of a different proposal
Like the-
because she can't use
like-
she can't use her deck
Yeah.
as a flying off.
If
deck.
you note, she doesn't actually even have a full flight deck in comparison to this one. The
No.
others, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Furious that would be the ship that is looking to be the proposal that counts.
I don't think
as-
they're necessarily doing a conversion to be at this point.
Well, no, but the thing is, Furious's conversion will, in terms of operational capability and being operable, is running parallel to this German ship because Furious gets her 4 flight deck in 1917. Like she's not fully flat decked by that point, but she has her aft landing deck and her forward takeoff deck by 1917, I believe. Which means that she's around when the...
She's around, sure, but
Oh, no, sorry. She gets... No, sorry. She has a forward flying off deck first, and she keeps her aft 18. Then she gets her aft deck at the end of 1917. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's it.
November 1917, rear turret was replaced by another one. But even then, that's still technically speaking only 2 half decks.
No, I'm not talking about being directly comparable, Dragon. I'm talking about the British counter to the... Is
No, I
it-
think they
is
probably.
it-
I think I do tend to agree with Clark that they probably would go for one of the early.
Oh, no,
Or if
oh,
they would
no,
do something,
they'll-
or they would do a Argus style conversion
They'll try and
to some
push
to a
things...
Kohler or
Oh
something.
yeah, they'll try and push things through, but the Germans have unfortunately beaten to a punch with a flat deck carrier. The British don't have anything that can be.
Yes, well, that means the British. If the Germans do beat us to the punch, the British will do exactly what they did historically
Yeah.
when the French beat us to the punch with Blois.
You will
They'll
like.
build something bigger and better in every single way.
You'll probably see Furious taken in hand as soon as her trials are concluded
No.
with her aft flight deck.
No.
No,
Why are you
That's
thinking
later.
conversion fleet?
Because it's
Like they
quicker and
genuinely
more
might just go
expedient.
right. We've got this design.
build.
Build this something far
Build.
better.
Yeah, they've got Hermes. Remember, they've got the scale designs for Hermes. They have one which goes up to 25,000 tons.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If you they need to blow this ship out of the water. They need to make the Germans look like they are amateur hour.
Yeah, probably right.
They need to do what Warrior did to Gloire. The amount of times I talk to people and people tell me that Warrior was the first ironclad, and I go, no, Gloire was. But Warrior blows Gloire out the waters.
Yes. But
Converting Furious does not blow the ship out the water.
no.
Like building a so much superior carrier basically goes.
A
Doesn't
Hermes or an
matter you
Eagle
beat
blows
us.
at her out of the water.
Yeah. Oh, you managed to beat us. How very nice. Now, if you
By
were blowing up
converting
over here,
something, you don't even have free lifts. You don't even have all the hangar spacing. We can take 60 aircraft. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. How big's your air group again? Oh, that's so kind. So pretty.
These are things that points.
This is how navies do this in this period.
Yes.
To be fair, that's how navies do it today as well, if they get a chance. Someone's playing Red Storm Rising. Someone's playing Red Alert 3 on the moon.
Red Alert 2. Yeah, but that's the Euro's Revenge campaign.
Red-
I remember it well.
Oh, it is too, yeah.
Good times. Good times. Gear of reporting.
I haven't played Red Alert in so well. I'm confusing 3 and
Wonder
2
if
now.
that's-
That's
I wonder if
embarrassing.
that's the what's it called Mental Omega mod.
No.
Red Alert was my first ever computer game.
Oh,
That's
mine.
how old I am.
Mine was Railroad Tycoon.
My first game was Red Alert.
Mine was Railroad Tycoon
Oh.
3. That was good.
Mine was
I got
Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, I have Railroad Tycoon 3. The fact that I can't get a decent version to work on my current computer annoys the life out of me.
Yeah, I've got it working just about.
I got into the PC.
Jane's
games
Fleet
relatively
Command.
Oh, Cyclic!
That's a
You
good one.
legend,
That's a
Cyclic!
good one.
You legend! Cyclic wins. Cyclic wins. How old were you when you started playing it? Because that's important.
I don't even remember. It was all I know is it was the 90s.
Oh wow! So yeah. So you're
Like, I was a
that's a
kid.
win. That's a win. Cyclic wins. The
I
Cyclic
don't know.
wins.
I'm pretty up there with Wolfenstein 3D.
No. In terms of complexity at young age.
Oh, by the
being
way,
your first game.
well, yeah.
please watch out for your account. There's there's currently the annual pre-Christmas weird people going around doing random quotes on YouTube's promoting what I would how do I put it politely, religious hatred. Apparently, it is if you according to the current comment I've just actually found on my note after I had a note from YouTube about it, was that I found a comment which basically goes, "It is un-Islamic to allow Christmas to be celebrated. All Muslim brothers must rise up and prevent this foul holiday." I can think of better ways of converting people to your cause, and that's not something in a nice way, I don't think that reflects anyone. I think that's just someone trying to cause trouble stupidly. So just watch out for your channel, because apparently they keep slipping through YouTube.
Luckily, my channel's so small, I don't think they'll appear on mine.
No, they also.
You would be surprised.
There's a couple on my videos of this kind of stuff as well that happened when the best performing video on my channel is a video that is just splicing together all the like funny, cool cinematic bits from the trailers for Falling Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
Something like 40 something thousand views. There's a few comments that were on there that were just that kind of comment.
First of all, Hood, do you have a channel?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mostly
Hood
use it to
said this
post armor
repeatedly.
videos. I mostly use it to post armor videos, but yeah, I've got a video on there that's stupendously popular. It accounts for something like 80% of the views on my entire channel.
Good on you.
Which is quite sad.
I knew that, and you
cool.
didn't. Do you also not listen to your co-hosts?
I do listen to my co-hosts. I just have the memory of a goldfish.
Just doesn't pay
with
attention
dementia.
to us.
That's an insult to goldfish.
No, I said the memory of a goldfish with dementia.
That's an insult to goldfish.
Well, all I'll say is watch out, because your train voter videos are probably getting more popular, and VTubers are always interesting in the world, and always something which is going to get attention. So watch out. You could end up with these comments appearing on you as well.
We'll keep an eye out.
But also,
on them.
I honestly don't think, and this is going to sound strange, I don't consider it much of a badge of honor. I reckon they just randomly post onto any channel they can get to.
Yeah, probably. That wouldn't surprise me
More
at
than
all.
likely.
It's I believe the correct term is rage bait, possibly.
Yes.
I have no idea. I just think it's stupid.
I wouldn't worry too much about it, Dr. Clark. I
I'm
genuinely
not worried.
wouldn't.
I just would like. I just think it'd be fun if I could find the person who did it and have a conversation with them one-on-one
That would also be
about the fact
it would also
about the facts of life.
You'd lose brain cells doing it. I wouldn't even bother.
Oh,
Don't argue. Don't argue with idiots. They'll just drag you down to their level. That's the best advice I ever got given. And
Dragon, did Fleet really believe conversation meant conversation in that statement?
No.
Probably.
I think he did.
No, I didn't. But
I
was
don't think he quite
Alright.
realized it was your or my definition of conversation in that context.
No, I absolutely did.
It
But
was
I was.
conversation with.
But I was
no
try-
biscuits, no chairs.
Yes,
Be
I-
chairs.
No,
Chairs
I
might be involved.
No.
There might be some plumbing involved
Just
too.
not for sitting.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, can we not, please? This is going out live to the
might be
internet.
sitting.
Don't worry, Fleet.
I
Don't
tried
worry,
my
Fleet.
best
We'll
to
just go
move
after them.
away from that, and that's why I said what I said, because this is going
Yeah,
out live on YouTube, and I do
Don't
not
worry,
want...
I'll get a rusty chainsaw.
I do not want...
That escalated quickly.
No,
Yes.
Never use a rusty one. Oh, don't
we-
use a rusty one.
People,
It's a danger to
I'm going
yourself.
start-
You.
I'm going to start
Yeah.
muting people if we don't move on, please.
Well, we're waiting for you to move on.
I am if you will all stop talking.
So change the conversation.
The next
Don't just say,
question, go.
please move on.
Yeah.
I'm polite.
Mm.
You are.
Moving on.
See, how come when Hood says it, it works and I don't? Blackburn Blacksmith.
Moving on. Go.
Do you mind? Blackburn.
So let us
Blacksmith-
move on, Fleet.
Blackburn Maximus asks, if the hosts were to create a Yes Admiral version of Yes Minister, what would their favourite era to represent be? Oh, it's gotta be the Victorian era. It's got to be the late Victorian era, and you've got to have the Minister who is actually in charge be Fisher, and the old admirals who are advising him be the old stuck-ups who don't want to change.
What was it before and after of World War One?
Can I just ask something? What are the odds that he picked that era because he wants to have us make a Hosh-like ship as the background?
No, that's No. I picked that era because
Yeah.
it's the only.
You thought I wouldn't pick up that ruse that quickly, but we are no.
I mean, I
Very easy to work it
admire.
out.
I mean, I admire your
Even
imagination
the poodle
conjuring
picked
some.
up the ruse.
I mean, I admire your imagination picking up a ruse that didn't exist, but credit to you. But the reason I actually picked it was because it's the only thing I can think of that actually replicates the climate of Yes Minister at sea or around the Royal Navy. Basically down to the fact that it's the only period I can think of where real dangerous traditionalism is set in, and it's the only period in peacetime I can think of where the Royal Navy breaks that traditionalism quite sharply.
Ron, well, yeah, there was also the period in the 1950s with Mountbatten around. There's a few other periods where it's quite.
I think
like
immediately after World War One as well would probably
I'm
be
thinking,
quite fun.
like personally, I think it would be interesting having sort of that before pre-World War One, during World War One, post-World War. In particular, I'd be curious to sort of Admiral being from the perspective of the Sea Lords.
No,
I would love to see basically the Jellicoe and such beating people, going, "You were doing what to our boilers? You were doing what to our ships?" And the various other different members going, like Kark was mentioning, going to various different facilities unannounced, going, yes, spiffing work there.
Yeah, but the whole point.
But that's not how you do this weld.
Well, no, the thing is, the whole point of
Yeah.
the way
I still need to look
the
up
way-
and find out who taught Henderson how to weld, because that's just that
No.
story. Now I found
The way-
two different people confirming it. It's just a case of I now need to find out who taught him how to weld so
No.
I can put it together.
No, the way it would have to work is yes, there would be two series of Yes Admiral, where the upper admirals or civil service equivalents get the leg up most episodes on the admiral and get their way, and then you have a follow-on which is Yes First Sea Lord, which is the equivalent to Yes Prime Minister, where gradually over the course of the series the Prime Minister, because if you watch Yes Prime Minister, for most of those episodes the Prime Minister ends up getting his way over the civil service, which is the reverse. And the same thing you'd have in Yes First Sea Lord, you'd have the First Sea Lord getting his way over the other admirals in the civil service. So again,
The thing
it's
is,
the same
like, while it
format.
would be nice to have something similar to it, but there is still, I would still want it to be its sort of own thing instead of just basically a carbon sort of copy of how exactly it goes in that aspect.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The formula works. It ain't broke. You can't tell me Yes Minister is bad.
I really like Yes Minister.
Good,
Yes,
then it remains
That's all well and
unchanged.
good.
Good, that
But
remains unchanged. No reason to
It
change
does
the
not
perfection.
mean it. Yes, there can be though.
No, we're not touching it.
Perfection is not something that exists. Perfection is a goal that is literally unachievable.
I mean, Hosh is right there looking
As
at you funny, so... I couldn't resist.
Well,
I couldn't
it's
resist.
clear that he
You
played
set,
eye surgery when
you
it's
set me
badly
up
wrong.
for that one. Oh, I couldn't resist.
Something as good as the day he got botched laser eye surgery.
Eye surgery.
Oh, I couldn't resist. That was just... You set me up for that one. Oh.
Yes, and it's proven once again to everyone that
I think
your
the
eyes
two.
checked.
I think the standout two best ones would be the Victorian era,
Hmm.
maybe around the time that HMS Victoria is being commissioned, and then either just before or just immediately after the end of World War One. Maybe even in the lead up to Dreadnought being launched. That could also be quite good.
Oh yeah. And
Right.
decisions around not building more than one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord! I just managed to torpedo something with Queen Mary,
Nice.
and it was an enemy aircraft carrier.
5
I managed to torpedo the enemy
hello,
aircraft
Foxo.
carrier. Foxo?
point 255.
Hello. So, that
Point
was
255.
What?
0.255.
What?
What are you going? What now?
Point 1.
Oh dear.
Wait, is
Yeah,
that...
moving on.
Is that the missile approaching my location rapidly?
Possibly.
Could be, yeah.
Moving on.
So, next is a Discord question. So there we go. Up past Premier Chudenko, up past other Soviet officers, up past the Apocalypse tank, stop to admire the British destroyer. Up further we go.
I thought
Admire.
you stayed up in the chat.
I do normally, but I had to go down to look at something. Admire the RIM 174s. Excellent missile. 10 out of 10 would missile again. Keep going.
Are we all fairly certain that Fleet's having an episode?
No, well,
But speaking of which,
My
Cyclic,
entire
while Fleet-
life is one giant episode.
Speaking of Fleet, while he's busy looking for stuff at Cyclic, didn't you say you were working on a scenario for Fleet at some point? How's that going?
No.
And Sea Power?
You can
Oh, it's
see
getting
some,
better and
some
better.
photos of the testing in Theater at Sea.
I'm dreading it. I'm dreading it.
Oh,
'Cause I'm-
Forest
The
of
race to
Phantoms goes,
200 miles out is what I will call those photos.
Oh, yippee. Yippee-ki-yay.
I did get to see a very good intercept between a couple of Yak 38s and a B-52 last night.
You know, sometimes I dream about cheese. Wait, that wasn't related to the...
Once again, proving Fleet is actually
cheese?
French.
So
He's a
that
Frenchman.
so that was that one. So that was that one.
Gunnery
It was a
officer.
gap.
She was running Phantoms until the mid 80s.
Yeah,
Ah,
good vibe though.
Dragon 2000 asks, question for a friend. How feasible would it be to make a rotary anti-aircraft gun of, say, 20mm caliber during World War II, and how effective would it be? You can feasibly do it, but the problem is the mounting will basically be huge because the power pack has to be installed in the mounting. You're talking about a 20mm rotary turret that's about the size of a twin 3-inch mount, but is fully enclosed. And a massive box. Heck,
Depending on like who does it, it might be even larger.
yeah.
What was the question?
How feasible would it be to make a rotary anti-aircraft gun, say a rotary barreled anti-aircraft gun of, say, 20mm during World War II, and how effective would it be? You can feasibly...
Hardly.
It's just
You could do it aboard ship. It's just, why
It's
are
gonna
you
be a
doing
ship
it in
mount.
20mm?
I'd do it in 40.
Or 37?
Oh
one
my-
of the two.
This was a question asked to me by a friend last
Just
night.
to quickly say is, Yuki, I'm hoping you're saying this. You're hating how aggressive people are on the EU server. I'm hoping you weren't the destroyer captain, which I just smashed into my battle cruiser within about 2 minutes of the game beginning because you were in the wrong position. Because if that was, sorry,
No,
I know I
it's
blew you up in one go.
She's in a tier 6 cruiser, it's fine.
It's also
Oh, well, that's good.
Right, Yuki's primarily played on the North American server where it's got a semi-passive meta. It's not quite the same as the Asia servers, which are completely passive, but EU is
Yeah.
the most aggressive server there is, where everyone just charges in.
The feed system would be the problem. But by the 1950s, you've definitely got it.
Yeah, because
And the reason I say by the 1950s you've got it, some people in chat will know exactly what I am about to post an image of.
Oh, no.
yes, is that
Yeah.
Vigilante.
Yeah, that's one that we were looking
Oh,
at.
lovely.
Part of it working.
Oh, my...
Everyone's ears near the AA gun are gone, including the target pilots.
What in the
It's a
name...
37mm.
What in
Yeah.
the name of Mike?
Based off an M113, isn't it?
No.
I thought it was M113
No,
chassis.
no, you're thinking of VADS. That
You're
is,
thinking of the VADs.
I believe that is actually based on the patent chassis, but it's been modified.
Heavily modified.
It's either the M48 or the M60 chassis, I believe.
If it's the 50s, it's the
Also, I
M48.
believe it has radar, so this is not going in. This would
Oh,
not be able
yeah.
to fit into War Thunder, so...
Oh my God.
T250 Vigilante is based off M113 chassis. Is T4.
The Vigilante is a different system, though.
Right.
No, this is the Vigilante.
Oh my
So,
goodness,
it
the
was
raw
913.
size of that gun. That is so much gun that even an orc might stand there and go, we have perhaps reached enough DACA.
No.
No. An orc would want like 4 Gatling guns of that size on this thing.
Yeah. Plus missiles.
And, no,
What about the Octavia 76mm version of those?
Yeah, and bigger.
ah, yes.
They put them on the mini stompers, the avatars of Gok and Mok. They're night equivalents.
Oh, good lord. Right, where's Fleet's comfort blanket?
Sergeant York pretty
told
much
you before,
covers
he's
the
gonna
spot
stop.
they'd have to sit this, waifu.
They might do it as a premium. It would be very funny. Although you probably have to give out advisories because eardrums might explode.
Yeah, Gunnery Office also posted another one of the rotary anti-aircraft vehicles I've seen.
Now, obviously, you put it at 8.0 alongside the Falcon.
It's a rotisserie chicken.
Permission to shoot, Fleet.
Nope.
Granted.
Already granted.
You've always got it.
See, the USAA system I want them to add in War Thunder is this.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Oh my god. Cyclic, why?
What missiles are those?
I believe those are the ADATS missiles.
Oh
whatever
my
they are.
god. That's just... if you'll put, excuse me, that's fuck you, fuck the building you were hiding behind, fuck the tank in front of
And
you,
it's-
and the tank behind you.
I can't remember if it's got two 35mm autocannon on it or not. You also have that proposal for it too.
I like the second one. The second one is a lot more comfier because it actually makes use of the entire turret as it is anyway, and doesn't look that obvious. The other one is it's like a transformer, but you have.
So they wanted to cover the fire control radar up to protect it from artillery fragments.
Naturally.
When you didn't need it. There's also another. The other reason is the smaller the turret, the less stress you have on the turret mechanisms for rotating it quickly. So here is another version.
Oh my goodness, it is adorable and I love it.
It's not adorable. It looks like a Dark Eldar made it.
Oh, so as I recall, this was the system that was also trialed on the Bradley, correct? The
missiles, yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
were
believe-
looking at a Bradley-based version of it.
Yeah, the Bradley was going to
As
have the
well.
25mm Bushmaster that had just been given different munitions, I believe. The Abrams one that was proposed would also use the same weapon to make sure that there was an ease of materials and parts.
Wow, we've actually got a fair number of
I mean,
questions.
the only difference that would change would be the ammunition that they'd use.
I think the version that you were looking at, just doing a quick look through, the one that Sea Dotters put up, that's actually like Stingers. That's not.
Yeah.
And
The one that you posted was
to
the
be honest,
also.
yeah, I know. To be honest, I think I'd prefer the version with the better reach. Stinger does not have great reach against Soviet attack helicopter ATGMs.
Whereas ADATS
At
just goes.
A
I can reach
M10 Booker with a reasonable AA turret, I think, would be a very useful thing for the ABCTs, Sierra.
Yeah.
Because that way they're not hampered by Striker cross-country mobility in Eastern Europe in thick mud.
And I mean, to be fair, if you give, I mean, the Booker chassis is ideal for a bunch of conversions, like artillery, or heck, artillery
We
to
don't
follow
need
the.
It doesn't. No,
No.
It's less about that and more about like this is to fit a very specific niche, but the chassis has some degree of compatibility with other potential systems.
I mean, the reality is you'd probably do it on a Bradley chassis or AMPV, realistically. AMPV is
AMPV would actually
probably
be
the
better.
choice. But
Yeah.
Right. So we have time for one more question.
Go on.
pick well.
Yes. Well, I have to. I think it's a. So
No
that was-
pressure.
Well,
That's a YouTube
it's a
now.
YouTube question before we.
I have my tendrils crossed for an Azure Lane question. I'm not going
There's a lot of them there. There is a lot of Azure Lane.
So that was that. 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 Oh, it is an Azure Lane question.
There is a Trafalgar question coming. There's not
Blackburn.
just from me.
Blackburn, Blackwell. Well, that'll be for Wednesdays. That'll be this week's Trafalgar question that Flea has to answer.
Well, no, you get a Trafalgar question while you're live on a Monday, and you get whatever people put in as your Trafalgar question when you have later on in the week.
Well,
We can do the
But I
Trafalgar
always give a
question,
Trafalgar
John.
question for you.
I suppose we'll do the Trafalgar question now as the last one, since I seem to be contractually obligated to answer a Trafalgar question if I can find it.
Or you just keep going a bit longer.
No, I have my.
What happened to the Spanish frigate after the battle?
Spanish frigates after the Battle of Trafalgar.
What happened to the Franco-Spanish frigates after the battle?
Both Frank.
What did they do?
Didn't a number of them either surrender or just run? Or are we talking about what happened physically to the ships.
So 3 was
Well, basically, we're seeing if Fleet knows.
3 was scuttled by their captors because they were too damaged to save. 1 was... Oh, no, you don't. I'm not falling for that one again.
Mm.
Okay. I'm just trying to... Because the internet's getting very confused and it's refusing to distinguish between frigates and ships of the line. I want you to...
Are you trying to do ChatGPT search?
What? Of course not. Do I look like a... Do I look...
You just...
Do I look
I'm
like...
sorry, do you really think Fleet knows how to search with ChatGPT?
Yeah, do you... Well, first of all...
Well, you know.
Harsh, but fair.
Oh...
ChatGPT
I was
takes a
giving him the
monkey's
benefit
level
of
of
the doubt.
intelligence to use.
Come on.
No, I've just got here on your ending. I'm not happy.
My timetable doesn't function around...
Yes,
It should do.
Fleet, think very carefully about what you're about to say.
My timetable...
You have a life expectancy.
I was about to say, my timetable doesn't function around... Well...
Notice I have to be very careful. You know?
the
because
other
keep in mind,
members
Fleet,
of the
your
host
lifespan might
panel,
reduce drastically.
generally. The timetable...
Right there.
the timetable runs...
That's better than it could have been.
That's what I was going to say anyway. The timetable runs according to the needs of the week as and when. Sometimes we'll go for all night. Sometimes I'll do other things. Since I would like to break in my new server, specifically with a game of Hearts of Iron 4, I am finishing off at about 8 o'clock tonight. And also because I do want to save up a stock of questions for a 3-hour stream on Wednesday and a 3-hour stream on Friday. That's why. Like it
Oh,
depends
quite
on
an
the
hour ago my phone got run over.
Oh. Oh. Well, that really sucks.
Well,
So,
I guess it'll at least give me time to get Fractured Space reinstalled
Yeah.
and get it working.
yeah, frigates, Trafalgar, come on. Ugh, good lord.
The Gladiator will sail the stars again.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Fractured Space was an excellent game while it was out.
Was?
Yeah, it got shut down years ago, but
Okay, so there were
finally getting Client
5.
Bootstrapper to work.
Yeah, so there were 5. So there were 5 Franco-Spanish frigates. At the Battle of Trafalgar. What happened to them?
Are you playing? What? No. No. Wargaming bought them out, Brackman, after they went bankrupt. Basically.
So.
Wargaming keep talking about doing a game like Fractured Space and never do.
So that was that.
Because for a game from 2016, it looked gorgeous.
74 gunship of the
Yeah,
line.
and let's be real, Star Conflict really needs some competition in that
That
niche.
was all. Yeah, so that was all.
I haven't found a game that even compares to it.
Okay.
And currently Star Conflict's just a worse version of War Thunder, but with Starfighters.
Okay.
And nuclear missiles, actually. A lot of nuclear missiles.
Okay. Come on, fleet, engage. Well, it's not engage, but it's actually finding it. Okay.
Yeah, I was right. The Gladiator does only have guns at the front on one side, so they did
Okay.
fix that in the fan version.
I'm trying to actually find information on what happened to the frigates specifically is proving more difficult than I expected. There's a great deal of information on what happened to the ships of the line on both sides, but trying to find the
Also, literal space carrier. Like,
but trying to find the what happened to the frigates is difficult at best. I'm having real
you okay,
trouble.
Cyclic?
I just got sent something, that's all.
Oh dear, right. So, do you want to try and ask for assistance then, Fleet?
I'm actually going to have to give in because I've been looking not only on, I've been digging through multiple different websites and other bits and bobs. I'm really struggling to find any information on what happened to the Franco-Spanish frigates after Trafalgar. The only guesstimate I can make based on my knowledge of how Age of Sail battles go is that as soon as it became clear what way the wind was blowing, either they would have run for it alone, or would have tried to take what ships the British were unable to capture under tow and make a run for it with them. That would be my, if any of the Franco-Spanish frigates hadn't been captured or disabled already. That would be my guess. Go on, Dr. Clark. What actually happened?
Well, in the case of Argus, she was, how do I put this, seized by the French.
I thought we were talking about the Franco-Spanish frigates.
Franco-Spanish, yeah. She was supposed to be seized by the Spanish, but Argus wasn't seized by the Spanish. She was seized by the French, who managed to get out of Spain and managed to keep working until eventually she was broken up. Quite a lot of the French ships were lost to Spain after Spain decided to switch sides. Basically, Foray is one of the frigates, where she gets blockaded into Cadiz, and has the fun there. How about the Miriel? Well, otherwise known as Themis, but she's under the command of Captain Juan and takes part in the Miriel expedition. Does a sort of cruise around the world trying to hunt for things.
But they all get away from the battle.
She towed the Principe d'Austria and Santa Ana to safety in Cadiz. If it hadn't been for her, those two would have been captured by the Royal Navy.
Wow, so I wasn't.
It should also be pointed out that technically speaking, Foray and Argus were both brigs, whereas the other five, Kane, Hermione, Hoten, Rhine, and Themis were all classical style frigates, as we'd come to see them later. But all of them
Rin. Well, Rin escaped, took part in both battles of Cape Finisterre and the Battle of Trafalgar, and managed to survive both, but she got captured by HMS Mars, which was a 74 gun, in 1806, after a chase of 26 hours and 150 miles.
That's a heck of a chase. That is a
heck of a leg.
Yeah, that's a run right there. That's a run.
Her commander, after Mars was drawing broadside and had drawn out all her guns, decided to strike her colours just before Mars fired. She then ended up in British service in the War of 1812 and doing all sorts of things there.
Good. Shooting at the Americans. Marvellous. Good. Great pastime. Fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Hortense, well, she and Hermione actually captured a brig on the 12th of May 1805, and while they were cruising in the Caribbean. But when she took part in the Battle of Trafalgar, she didn't really earn any good laurels, which meant that she was actually later on renamed to Flora, because frankly she just wasn't doing that well.
Oh dear.
Then we have Milan. Milan belongs to the Royal Navy from 1805.
Yeah, there you go. Captured at Trafalgar.
Yeah.
So that's why France would eventually fall humiliatingly in two wars to the Germans. Elan was captured.
She was captured after Trafalgar, but it was, I believe, during her escape from Trafalgar that she was caught up with or intercepted.
Yes.
So Elan ran and was captured, and so the French were without Elan when they would go fight the Germans later. That explains a lot.
Cornelie was taken. Cornelie ran to Cadiz and is captured in 1808 by the Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the French frigates don't do well.
I don't think any of them genuinely. None of them, except I think the brigs, Foray and Argus, were actually engaged in the battle. The other five just sort of hung around the outside, and when things went badly, they ran for it.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's basically what I said. Apart from the ones that didn't get away. Wow, I actually.
When you realise there are 5 ships, there are 6 ships at the battle which are fighting under flags which are not their original flags. 4 of them are French to British. 2 are British to French.
Nice.
Do you know which were the British to French vessels?
No, honestly. If you want the honest answer, I don't know off the top of my head. If you want the honest answer, I can go look. but off the top of my head, I don't know.
Beric and Swistra.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does.
Beric and Swistra.
Yeah, that makes.
Beric are the big ones.
Both were 74s.
Hmm.
Yeah, Beric and Swift, they sound like 74s.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Tonnant, which was HMS Tonnant, if I recall correctly. No, I'm looking at the wrong side. My bad.
I do like how the whole Trafalgar campaign. They
I
literally...
was looking at the wrong table. I was looking at French to British.
Yeah. Oh, good lord. Right. Okay. So with that, we are coming to the end of our time this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed. Obviously, don't forget we have the catch-up ramblings on Wednesday, where all the questions that we didn't get to today, we will get to on that date. For those who haven't joined Fleet's Discord server, which is now live and open to the public, for all the horrors that may entail, please go to the YouTube channel to find the link, because I don't want to post the link here, because that would be advertising without permission, and I haven't asked the admirals if I can do that yet. So you'll have to go to the channel if you want to get the link to the server. Because I'm not vain enough to ask to...
We should do a sort of collaborative Discord channel thing where we have links to friendly servers like AC Naval History and the like. That would be a good idea. We'll discuss that later though as an admin team.
Yes. Good. This is a good
That'd be
idea.
good.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I will, if anyone wants me, I will be in my Discord server. Well, that feels good to say.
It also feels very vain you saying that.
Look, allow me. Look,
especially the way you said
look,
that.
I'm usually when I'm not playing the character of Fleet, I'm very modest as an actual person, and I always have been. But look, a lot of the me you see online, even when I
those eyes,
even when I'm not actually on the channel, a lot of it is a caricature. So I allow myself a little bit of excess in my caricature, since it's basically me turned up to the nth degree with a lot of the restrictions I put on myself in real life taken off.
If anyone knows this whole thing of Galron's eyes thing from Star Trek, how nuts his eyes are, very much what Clark's eyes look like now at the moment.
Yes. So yeah, if anyone wants to join me, I will be in my server where I will do wood blood pumping vessel 1+3. Take care, folks.
There.
And what did she? Okay, let's. Is that something that was pinned from?
You'll have to figure it out.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I'm going on the stage now. Have a good night, everybody. Go join Fleet in the server. Goodbye.
Oh, well, okay. The stage got ended first before the YouTube stream did.